Hello, Twitch. How are you? This is me, Ithaca Hawk, joined as usual by 5 people who play D&D with me on Sundays every couple of weeks. They're cool people. We have Disc Reader, Kyle. That's him there. Yep, doing his thing. We have Geeky Decorum, the artist formerly known as Rathon Domitras of EVE Online, famous helper of people. He plays Siege.
Oh shit, that's my open, sorry.
We have Mizir, Starmiz, who is Harzana. We have Dwagon Omer, who changes his Twitter handle on a regular basis. Today he is Omer_AMR. Next week, AMSR. And of course we have Chocolate Rain, who is Snow. Hello, and welcome to Adventures in New Eden. Although it says episode 5, it is in fact episode 6, which I'm changing right now. I've just noticed.
We're up to
Yelling
such
to
good
spam
time.
Discord.
Look, I never promised anything about production quality. I just promised production. And that is what we're doing, production. So, let's just recap briefly. The session before last, we ended in a mine. The players spent the entire session running around the mine, panicking essentially, which Siege will take us through. Siege, how did it go for you?
And they call it a mine. Yeah, Lord of the Rings, quite whatever. So, right at the start of last game, we got inspiration for everybody because the DM was like, I keep forgetting, and now you should have it. And, then we all nearly died horribly, so didn't even use it. We found nothing worth excavating, a makeshift encampment, and apparently the skeletons were too decayed to be the townsfolk, or some really spooky, weird stuff was going on. We then found an oversized cart, and Tristan ran into an ogre skeleton that was part giant and proceeded to try and fight it, making a huge amount of noise, mostly thanks to rain. We found out that necromantic magic was used to reanimate it, kind of obvious given it's a giant skeleton. We found 4 more Triglavians and shortly dispatched them. We then blew up a tunnel with a big barrel of black powder, because mischief is fun. And a short while after that, we found 4 guards and a magister that somehow hadn't come running to find us. We could have gone in and just used combat normally, but we thought, no, that's too simple. What we'll do is we'll float some TNT into the room and turn them into a soup, which worked really well. We found a magic longsword called Rockbreaker, which was given to Sir Tristan. The rest of it was kind of just soupy. And Hazana very helpfully pointed out that the quest I'd reassembled painstakingly was in fact the wrong way up. Thanks for that. We then found the mother of all monster goos and it attempted to eat us and nearly killed Sir Tristan. And that alerted us to it being all the villagers and part of my familiar's wing. Thanks for that again. We then went wandering around the mine like hairless skullbrain lunatics and split up the party. Really good. Found some more skeletons. Hazan and Tristan found some nice rocks to look at and really enjoyed spending most of the time doing that. That was really helpful. And then we found a wandering ghost, which was a wraith of some kind, and we were trying to communicate with it. Didn't want to have anything to do with us, didn't want to know, and Tristan swung his sword at it, and then it got really mad and tried to kill all of us and almost succeeded. At the end of it, we decided we didn't like this mine very much, so instead of searching it for any treasure or something useful, we all just got out as fast as we could and wandered back to the abandoned town of Yulai and set up shop there for the night, and we had a long rest and leveled up.
That sounds about right. So, thank you, Siege, for the summary. Worth noting that this is session 6. I think we've had 5 sessions so far, and you guys managed to split the party in at least 3 of them. So, good job as a team, as a unit, maintaining cohesion. That's what we'd like to see. Now, you are in the little mining town of Eulea. We've just left the mine. You had a long rest in the town, the abandoned town. All the townsfolk seemingly drawn by this mysterious music that you could only hear when you really thought about it, or if you weren't paying attention, and suddenly it kind of took you. It seemed like it drew them all down the mine to their demise. You went down the mine. You found the mysterious goo. Tazros nearly was like 07, but was saved by the combined efforts of some folks. And Snow also just ran off and nearly demised herself as well in said goo. But as Siege mentioned, you guys combined forces and fought it. So now you're in the town of Ulea, empty. You've had your long rest. It's morning. What would you like to do?
At first, I'm going to cast Lesser Restoration to restore my hearing.
It succeeds. You can hear again.
I believe the overall goal, because all the villagers are dead, was to look through the town to hopefully get some money or some supplies, food, then make our way to Amar, I think is where we were going.
Yeah, so you were the last that you had planned as a team was you wanted to head to Amar, and you were told that the sky ships travelled regularly from the town of Hama, and you were on the road to Hama when you came across basically this village after being directed here, and it's a slight offshoot, but you're still on the road to Hama in this town of Ulea currently.
Okay.
So this is a perfectly good village that is going unused. We should probably check as many of the houses as possible for kind of deeds, titles, records of family members, etc., so we can maybe, pass some of this inheritance on.
So should we also bulls, or is that considered theft?
I mean, if you are going to do that, don't do that where I'm looking.
Okay.
Or we could just go to Hama, go on the spacey thing, and just tell the douchebag guard, I forgot his name, that this town is empty.
Lieutenant Hightower.
Lieutenant Hightower.
The one that got bitten by the werewolf.
Douchebag.
Yeah. We could do that, but I think we have to pay money, and none of us really have that. Only you and I have money. So we have to get money for the rest of our crew to fly in the skyship.
Well, I think Lieutenant Hightower made an arrangement, a promise with us.
Yeah, we actually need papers more than we need money.
Oh, okay.
Whilst all this is going on, I'm going to stay out of line of sight of Tristan and try and loot the crap out of the place.
Okay, Siege, roll me an investigation as you go around looking for nice things to steal. Very nice. So, Siege, you head around the town. You head around the village, and through the combined efforts of searching buildings and you find a couple of mattresses and you lift them, and there's some coins here, or there's some nice bits and pieces kind of on like a mantelpiece in some of the nicer houses of the village. You've got a total of 150 gold pieces, 600 silver pieces, and 1,300 copper pieces. You also find a couple of nice polished metal statuettes, hand on head, worth approximately 25 gold pieces each. You find 3 of those.
Is he cut out for anyone else?
Yeah.
Damn it!
Are you here?
What was the last thing you heard?
Yeah, you're here again, it seems like.
What was the last thing you heard?
Statuette's
25
worth
gold pieces?
approximately 25 gold pieces.
Yep. So you got 150 gold pieces, 600 silver pieces, 1300 copper pieces, and 3 statuettes, bracket silver, close bracket, worth 25 gold pieces each.
Thank you very much. Trying to think how to share this out without Tristan beating the crap out of me, or trying to at least.
While Siege is busy looting the place, I'll check around for any supplies or anything useful we can use for our travel.
I'm gonna assist Ms.
Okay, you can give me an investigation with advantage if the two of you are looking for it. So that is a 21 with your advantage and your guidance. So yeah, you find a couple of sets of like dried meat and cheeses and things like that, and bread. In the bakery, it's got a bunch of stuff that's all obviously prepared for travelers, so it's been like wrapped up already with some cloth to keep it fresher for a little bit longer. And you find a shop with some vials that are different colors. You don't immediately recognize what they might be, but it looks like perhaps some potion or something.
Okay. I suppose we're going to distribute the food among us.
Yeah, that sounds good. Can we do? Is it Arcana to see what kind of potions they are?
Yeah, you could try to determine it that way if you wanted to. Give me a roll on Arcana.
I give guidance.
That's 13.
You're not really sure. It's sort of transparent, and it looks like there is like a sliver of something floating around in the potion. But you're not really sure what it is.
All right, I share that with the party, or at least Ms. or Herzana.
That's interesting. Maybe we can have another look when we have more time.
All right, or we can just drink it and see what happens.
That's the chivalry exercise.
That's a very Taz option. Okay. Taz, are you doing anything, buddy?
I'm just sitting here watching the view.
You're not gonna look
Okay.
for ale?
I still have ale. Why would I need... Wait, I need more. Good idea. I want to look for ale. See if I can find it.
You find plenty of ale in the little village tavern. Most of it looks of average quality, pretty much what you would expect of a small sort of local village, basically. There's someone there who makes their ale. It might not be the best ale, but it is certainly ale, and it's probably stronger than average as well, because in a place like this with miners, strength is probably what they're looking for rather than quality.
Getting out again. Is there like a giant like a cask or something?
Yeah, there's
Or
a
like a
couple
barrel,
of
perhaps?
there's a couple of barrels. There are huge barrels, sort of 4 feet across, 6 foot tall barrels.
I want to get one barrel and roll to like the middle of towards the party at least,
Yeah, you can
and
do
bring
so.
some more what I can, at least some what I can carry. Like, of course, I cannot carry the barrel, but maybe like some kind of small flask or something.
There's not really any flasks in the tavern. There is all the sort of various tankards and things like that. And when you try and carry the ale by itself, it just kind of like dissipates through your arms. But you do manage to successfully roll the barrel itself into the center of town where the rest of the party is.
Are there animals?
I found
in
the
this?
ale. Let's go.
Are there animals in this town? Like, is that apparent? Like, any horses that could carry a cart or something like that?
Give me a perception. As far as you can tell, there isn't. Like, you see horse tracks and stuff around, but when you follow them, they just seem to go in circles, and you realize after a while you've been kind of walking around the thing that they use to power the mill to grind the corn. You've been following the tracks around and around the circle.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, are we all going to meet up before we leave the town, or we're just going to wander out by ones and twos?
I still want to hear the results of this haphazard attempt at genealogy. We'll start in the blacksmiths.
So you're in the blacksmiths, Sir Tristan. And what are you looking for exactly?
I'm looking for any kind of records suggesting an heir, or papers, titles, deeds to the blacksmiths as a thing.
All right, give me an investigation.
Ooh, I got an investigation 15. My investigation is +0, so I'm wary of re-rolling that. Give me the 15.
I'll tell you what, since
That
you weren't
sounds
doing anything else earlier on and you rolled it, I think for that earlier on, I'll leave it. So you search high and low in the blacksmiths, and with the 15 you find various tools, you find sort of offcasts of metal and slag, you find the leather bits that they use to wrap the handles and stuff like that. You find some personal effects, little carved like a little carved horse for a child perhaps, a number of small handcrafted metal things. You know, you're not really sure what they are, but they look very nice. Obviously, they were sentimental value rather than material value. But after searching high and low, you don't find a paper deed or anything to this blacksmith's premise.
Okay. Are there keys at least to lock it?
There are very simple keys for the doors. They're chunky. They've only got maybe like 1 or 2 pins in them type keys. Really not something that would stop anyone who wanted to get through. Especially as you could probably pop a sword through and flip the latch type thing. Like it's a small town.
They won't stop a determined robber.
Exactly, it's a small town, and the blacksmith entrance itself is open to the front with like the forge and everything. It's not as if it's like fenced off or even walled off. It's just open with a roof covering.
Okay. All right. I'll secure everything in there as kind of best I can, and then I guess I'll head over to wherever Harzana is.
Okay, you do so. Everything is secured as best you can.
Hell yeah.
Having finished looting the town, I'll appear from the direction of the mine, heading back into town to meet up with Tristan and Hazana. Where's Snow? Where's Taz?
I show up back from the mill to Harzana.
Did you find a horse?
No, but they clearly had horses at one point, but I guess they ran off or something.
Well, we might not have any horses, but this might brighten your day. I dropped back down the mine for a couple of hours and scavenged what I could. And there's a fair bit of coin down there, which I don't think is going to do anyone any good. So I'm going to share it out with you guys, as long as you've got no objections.
I mean, I'll always take money, I guess.
Given the lack of objections, I'll hand everyone 30 gold, 120 silver, and 260 copper pieces. I will keep the statuettes for myself for later.
Can you repeat it again?
How many copper?
So 30 gold, 120 silver, and 260 copper.
I'll incline my head in like a hand it to Harzana thing.
And I'll keep Taz's share for the moment since he's vanished into the ether.
Somewhere we'll find a barrel, and then that'll be the first clue.
Some legs sticking out of
A
it.
leg sticking out the top of it.
Just out of Josh's question, so you gave your share to me.
Yeah.
Where the hell's that damn dwarf? I'm gonna go look for him.
Snow screams his name really loud.
Follow the smell of ale.
Tazros, you hear your name being screamed from somewhere as you're rolling a barrel around.
Can I pinpoint where it comes from?
Yeah. I mean, you're not drunk yet.
Okay.
So it sounds like it's coming from roughly where you were rolling the barrel to. In the center
Then
of
I
town.
will start rolling my barrel towards the point of sound.
Snow, a dwarf rounds the corner rolling a barrel bigger than him.
You've been making good use of your time, Taz. Aye. Do you fancy a bit of coin, lad?
Always. Do you want a bit of ale?
I'll happily trade some coin for some ale.
Good.
I'll hand Taz
Then
his
next-
share.
Then next in, I will buy you ale. Because this is mine.
Right. So Siege will look a tad perturbed, but not too fussed by it, and head back towards the main group.
When Siege returns to the group, I'll hand him 5 gold. Here you are. Debt has been settled.
Ah, thank you very much. I forgot about that. So I guess we're setting out on the road for Hamar then.
Well, do we want to find a way to carry the barrel, or are we just gonna roll it?
That's the problem.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't-
we're a
I don't
party.
acknowledge the existence of a barrel, so
I'll just keep it pushing forward.
So if you're rolling the barrel, you're moving it definitely half speed.
Can you use
Fine.
Mage Hand and help him push it?
Mage hand can only use £5, I think.
Help.
Yes,
And
but this
help.
barrel is quite sizable. It's bigger than a dwarf. It's about 4 feet across, 6 feet tall. So it's bowed out. It's almost like a butt. If you know the size of the different barrels, that's a butt. And
Bonus points are gonna hide behind it.
you can hide behind it. If people aren't suspicious of the rolling barrel, then that would be fantastic. But you're definitely moving at half speed trying to manage this thing, and that's on level ground.
Fine by me.
Team, I really encourage us to maybe find a cart or something.
Seeing Taz struggling, I roll my eyes. Back in the moment, I'll have a quick scout around the town. During my travels, did I spot a cart anywhere with my 18 investigation roll?
Yeah, there was various carts. By the local store, by various farms. You saw a couple of carts.
Okay, by the various farms, are there any horses that I can hear?
Not as far as you can tell. No horses. Give me an investigation
are there
real quick.
any-
Or a perception, sorry.
Perception, yeah, okay. No, this is not going to end well. Nope.
You don't see or hear any horses.
I'll head back towards the party. Sorry, lass, no cows, donkeys, horses, anything of the kind. Lots of carts, but
Why do we have Rosanna shapeshift into a horse?
that's so disrespectful.
You just make bad jokes at me. She's at least a druid.
She's a real person.
He was
I'm a real
hoping
person.
that no one got this idea.
Look, I'm just saying, it's gonna be a real hassle with that barrel.
So, what do I get in return?
Well, Tazros has gold now.
Taz, will you let the nice elvish lady draw your barrel behind us in exchange for some gold? We move a lot faster, lad. It's probably worth it. Get close to a town, we can drink more.
Sounds like a great idea.
Okay.
How much
so
does she want? How much gold are we talking?
How much Harzana?
How much are you offering?
I will give you. How much things I can get from here, and then out on my fingers, how much ale I can drink from it. I will give you 10 gold pieces.
Okay.
Wonderful!
I extend out my hand.
And
Seeing
I will give
this, I'll
10
go-
gold pieces.
I'll go find a cart, one that looks as sturdy as possible and as lightweight to try and spare Hazana a little bit.
Yeah, you can find one. Probably from a farmer. It has, signs of like loose hay and stuff kind of lying around in the back still.
Well, I will use Mage Hand to hold up the front of it, and I'll push it from behind towards the party.
Again, I just want to reinforce.
Yeah, I'm just using
Mage
I'm using
Hand
Mage Hand to.
can only
Yeah,
do
it
like
can hold-
10 pounds.
Yeah, I'm using it literally just to balance. Like, not using it to actually drag it along. I'm using it just to balance it so the spokes don't go head down into the dirt, and then I'm going to push it from behind.
Okay. You raise it and then when you push it, it sort of rotates around, and you feel your mage hand isn't able to kind of like hold the weight of it and it into the ground.
Hazana, can I have your horsey self over here for a short while, please? And I'll look for some tack and stuff to actually put on to secure it to her safely. without
Yes,
injuring her.
all the accoutrements are sort of lying around next to it.
Awesome.
I draw upon my inner powers and transform myself into a horse. With a long, beautiful, slightly curly mane, just matching her hair.
What color of horse?
Nice touch.
Like a brownish horse with like this slightly lighter brown mane.
Very nice. So this great draft horse appears. It's Harzana like
No, war horse.
warhorse. My apologies. This great warhorse appears in front of you as Harzana's shape itself twists and forms into this big brown horse with a flowing curly mane.
I'll respectfully get her all sorted out with the cart and get her all settled in so she's secure. Given like my previous knowledge of working on a farm, I think I should be able to do that fairly easily.
So the bridle has got all the bits and pieces like the bit and the blinkers and things like that. So you pop the thing over Harzana's rump and you like sort of lash it up, and then as you get to the front part with the bit and the
Yeah, are we gonna put that on her?
and the blinkers, what are you doing?
I'll offer it to her and see what she says. I'll see what she does like as a horse.
The blinkers, that's the.
The bit's like on the side, so like stop you from seeing.
Yeah, and the bit is the thing that you in your mouth.
I shake my head.
I'll just drop him in the dirt.
So the horse shakes his head violently side to side, and Siege drops it in the dirt. But now you have a horse / druid with a cart, and you have a barrel on the ground.
I cast Mage Hand.
Right.
I will try to put the barrel inside. Try to lift it up and then just. Whoop.
Okay, so you should lift it up. Okay, so it's as you've been rolling around, you know it's extremely heavy. 6 foot wide, 4 foot tall on its side.
Mhm.
You know that's it's going to be a couple 100 kilos. So if you're ready to try and lift that onto this cart, give me an athletics.
Well, wait. Can we have Sir Tristan help? if you were to be so inclined.
Let's see how he does first.
Worst case, I have to drink a bit of halfway. So empty more.
So you sort of get this barrel, and it's like, because you're a little stubby dwarf arm, you can't quite reach the end. So you're kind of like getting ready to try and lift it, and you crouch down and you start to lift it, and it sort of like gets up a little bit, but it just kind of rolls. The way you're trying to lift it, you can't really get any purchase underneath it, so it rolls and falls. So Tristan tries to stabilize it as well, and he comes in at the same side as you, and he pushes hard, but due to his lack of understanding of basic physics, he pushes on the same side and causes it to almost spin on its end, and it falls down onto the ground. And now the
appalling part is if we'd worked together, we'd have had a 25 and done it effortlessly.
the barrel will now make a roll to determine its if it survives the impact. It does. The barrel thumps onto the ground, and you see some of the seams flex briefly, and some beer kind of like puffs out of these seams, but the staves all hold together, and the hoops keep it all in one intact piece as the barrel crashes to the ground.
Quick question then, for the DM. The type of cart, is it... you mentioned that when I tried to push it, it pivoted. So is it a two-wheeled version?
Yes.
Okay. Right. What I think we need to do, if you can't lift that thing, we'll unshackle it from Hazana briefly, tip it back on an angle, roll the barrel up to it, and then use the leverage at the other end to lift that and secure that to Hazana, right? Any objections?
I mean, if you think it'll work, I'll try it.
Well, it's basic physics or some sciencey shit. I don't know.
I'm not like fluent in that language, so whatever.
Okay, well, can you and Sir Tristan try and roll it into the end of the cart, and myself and Snow will secure the other end so it doesn't move, and then we'll try from there. So I'm gonna unshackle it from Hazana again, and hope she's not getting too grumpy. Then tip it up at an angle so that the back of the cart is in the ground, and this, like, the bits holding onto the side of the horse are pointing up into the air to allow us to roll the barrel into the back of the cart. This is ridiculous, by the way.
Okay, but real quick,
Going to
on
turn
a
around
scale,
and look.
on a scale of 0 to more than 5, how good at lifting are you, dwarf?
Five, 10. What's higher?
Knew I asked the wrong person. Alright, dwarf, let's try this again.
Yeah.
Okay, so with the cart essentially back down like that, you can easily roll it around until it's sort of rolled up onto the back of the cart like that. So Tristan, you sort of get yourself set behind it, and you get ready to push. Tazros, are you helping as well?
Yeah, I was helping.
All right, roll.
That's why
athletics.
I'm appalled. It was still only 15 with the help.
Okay, so Tazros and Sir Tristan brace themselves and push, and Sir Tristan, you feel your feet slipping in the mud, and you sort of almost slide down to just gently slide down into the ground as your feet go backwards and the barrel goes nowhere. But Tazros, with his dwarven low center of gravity, is able to just push the barrel forward, and you feel it rise up, and you feel that the cart, once the barrel reaches that tipping point, it sort of like whoop, like goes up like that quite quickly, and then poof, and the barrel slams into the front of the cart and sort of bounces and settles there.
Nice.
Right. I'm gonna get into the back of the cart. I'm gonna stop it from moving as much as I can, and you guys need to lift the levers and attach them to Hazana. This is how you need to do it, and I'll show them how to attach all of it.
So you
Why
climb
did
up onto
you
the
do
back
it?
of the cart here. Is that
Oh,
right?
right. So yeah. Well, I'll get up there just to try and make sure that it doesn't roll out the back of the cart when they start lifting it.
Well,
I can see that being the next problem.
Are there wedges or something we could use, like to?
That's a better idea.
Um,
Yes. Are there any like wedges or stones like lying around on the ground we can see like
yeah,
within
there's
easy
stones
distance?
and there's like bits of wood and things like that. Yeah, you could
Okay. Yeah.
probably without too much effort find some sort of wooden wedges.
Okay. Yeah. So let's do Snow's plan.
All right, so you're sort of using wooden wedges to chock in the barrel at the front of this thing, and then are you still climbing into the back of the barrel the back of the cart anyway?
No, not if it's wedged.
Okay. So the cart's still like this. The barrel's at the front. And then some wedges there.
Right. Okay. Let's lift the front of it, attach it to Hazana, and then get the hell on our way. So Tristan, Taos, can you help with that?
I will.
So
Awesome.
you don't have to roll for this one. You're strong fellows. So you manage to lift the thing up. It sort of pivots on the. It's heavy because obviously a lot of the weight is at the front of the cart, but you lift it up, pivoting it around the axle, and then you're able to hook it onto Harzana. Harzana, the weight when they release it onto you, because it's front heavy on this cart, it's really, you feel it. You're a horse, you're strong, but you feel the weight pulling down on the bridle around you. It's not a balanced load that you've been given here.
While
From
they've
the,
been fooling around, I have been riding 3 letters into the ground with my hoof, trying to write something. And the letters I write is K, E, K.
Snow reads it out loud, and then calls to the party if anyone speaks Elvish, because Horizana is an elf, right?
No, I don't know. Recognise that lassie.
I actually do speak Elvish, but I'm not helping. I'm gonna go around the side of Hazana's head that nobody else is at, and like apologize for the indignity of this whole deal, and suggest that I won't be too offended or surprised if the draft goes loose and the barrel is lost, and etc. etc. Her security is more important.
Okay, so now you have a party and a horse with a barrel on the back of a cart. Are you heading on the road now?
Yeah, let's get this circus on the road.
I start moving.
Okay.
I start slowly moving.
Snow walks alongside Horizana.
So you trundle out of the town back towards the main road to Hama that you were travelling on before you ran into Leighton Hightower, who asked you to come here and check out Ulea. It doesn't take you too long to reach that road, and you travel uneventfully through the majority of the day. It's farmland for the most part. The farms are either very vast or spread quite thinly. It's clear not a lot of people live in this area, and those that do tend to live simply and in their own means. They live far enough away from some of these small villages and towns that you pass that they need to be self-sufficient, with maybe occasional trips to the larger villages. As you travel, the sun goes up and it's warm, and then it's hot. It's autumn, but the sun is still fierce, beating down above you. There's not much shade in this part of the land. Not many overhanging trees. Not many hills. You're just kind of walking in the sun through most of the day. Harzana, it's especially hard for you pulling this heavy cart. It's, even though you're a strong horse, you're working hard throughout the day. Everyone else is just kind of strolling along beside you, doing their own thing. But there's you walking along with this heavy cart. And by the end of the day, as the sun starts to dip over the horizon, you are tired. You're not exhausted, but you are tired, having pulled this damn cart all day. with not a single offer of help or assistance as the sun drops down and it gets darker and darker. Would anyone like to do anything?
Do we know how far we are from like the closest town or anything like that?
Give me a survival check.
Can I take his survival check?
So Tristan, you're not hugely familiar with the area, but based on the lay of the land and the density of the farms and stuff like that, you reckon and from what you heard previously from they told you to go to Hama, you're probably about half a day here away from Hama itself.
Does he share that with us, Tristan?
Yeah, it's too far for us to continue, especially now it's dark, and especially now one of us is a horse and not a particularly well kept one. You don't have to be trained in animal handling to know that somebody should be handling the animal. Yeah, we should probably make camp at somewhere safe nearby. Next safest thing we see.
We
Out
see
in the
any
open or-
lights?
Say again, Dwagon.
If we see any light, like light sources, houses, things like that.
No, not from here.
Well, we may as well try and find a decent spot off the road, I guess. I don't want to be particularly close to it, if we can help it. Unless anyone objects.
No, that makes sense to me.
Okay. So, Knight, you seem to be the best at finding these kind of spots. Do you want to see if you can find somewhere decent for us off the road?
I'm the best at most things.
Being arrogant, too.
I mean,
not arrogance, but it works.
it's quite flat land. There's a couple of copses of trees that you've passed, and you see one copse of trees, maybe 150, 200 yards off of the track itself. It looks like a good place to set up camp. You wouldn't be able to be seen from the road. You have a bit of shelter from any storms. Yeah, it looks like a nice place.
Right, let's do that.
So off the track is harder for the horse and cart. So this copse of trees is about 200 yards off the track. The land is a bit softer. It's not a trail. There's like rocks. There's bushes and things like that. So it's going to be difficult terrain for the horse and cart. So you're moving
Let's-
it half speed and kind of struggling.
Let's leave the cart and horse, or the cart at least, by the road, and then Harzana can just be Harzana. So we can take her off, or unequip her or whatever, so that she can be back to normal. But then that way we don't have to drag the cart in and then drag the cart back out.
That's not a bad shout. And I whisper as an aside to Snow, and hopefully some bugger will nick it in the night so we can leave the fucking thing here.
That's smart.
Okay, so we'll go through the process of unlimbering Hazana and watch the cart just tip accidentally onto its end, and the barrel will do what the barrel does.
So, Tazras, you see that the cart is being unbridled, and they let it go, and it kind of falls forward with its staves into the dirt as it does so, and you hear the kind of like sound of wood cracking as it goes thunk into the ground. Doesn't look like it's broken, but you definitely hear the sound of wood going. When you drop something heavy in a piece of wood, it's not going to be immediately okay. And the barrel kind of like shudders in its holster, as it were.
I want to inspect the state of the barrel.
Okay. I mean, from your expert eye, the barrel looks fine. It's clearly holding ale. You heard it slosh slightly when it was dropped like that.
There's no ale leaking below it.
Not as far as you can see.
Can I investigate it thoroughly? So, even crawl under the cart to see if it's not dipping down there.
Yeah, so you crawl under the cart, and you sort of lying there, have a good look at the base of the thing, and a single drip lands on your forehead as you do so, and further inspection, you see like a very small damp patch, just sort of on the wood. A drip has formed and dropped onto your forehead. Another drip is slowly forming as you look at it.
I want to put my finger in it and taste it if it's still ill.
It is ill. It is definitely ill.
I'm gonna crawl up from underneath the cart, and then I wanna move the barrel from the cart, like roll it away from it, like.
So the cart's sort of like this, and the barrel is there.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have to tip it that way to roll it out the back.
Oh no, that's the other way. I grab my great axe and chop down the wood, so what's is holding it now.
It's just pieces of. So hang on. Are you chopping the cart apart?
Yes.
Okay, so you swing your great axe into the cart, and you hear wood splinter. Everyone else, you see Tazros climb under the cart. You hear a slurp, and then Tazros comes back out, sort of puts his hands on his waist, looks at it, then draws his great axe and just whacks the cart.
And I want to roll the barrel so that the leak is up instead of down.
So Tazros,
what are you doing?
Hack away at the front of the cart. So it's the bits that were holding it sort of up like that, the two prongs. You hack them off, and the whole thing tips forward even further into the ground with those bits cut off. And then with a few more hacks, you're able to break open the front of the cart, like sort of the vertical wall at the front of the cart that it was leaning against, and the barrel kind of rolls out a little bit into the dirt.
That's fine, as long as the leak is up now.
I mean,
From what I can tell, of course.
From what you can tell, it's just rolled like a couple of revolutions, and it's hard. I mean, give me an investigation to see if you can determine exactly where it is.
I want to use my inspiration for this.
Okay.
How do I use it with inspiration?
You just roll it, and then we take the advantage. So you just roll as you would normally. Wow.
Perfect.
That's incredible.
From your investigation, it seems like the big stopper on the sort of side hole of the barrel itself is leaking.
Okay. Oh wait, I know what I can use. I grab the thing out of it because I don't think it fits well, and I grab the TNT bar I still have from the mine and plug it in there to stop the hole from leaking.
You what from the mine? Sorry, you grab?
The TNT bar I got from Siege in the mine.
Right. Okay. Sure. So you pull this sort of stopper out of the side, and you reach into your pouch, and you find this bar of TNT. And there's a moment where the numbers scroll down the screen, and you're like, "This is the same size," and you jam it in, and it's not actually the same size. It's actually a little bit too big, but TNT is slightly malleable and soft, so you kind of shove it in, and it sort of almost peels away the side, like squeezing it into something too small. It peels off like as you're shoving this thing. Give it a couple of hits, and this bar is now sticking with just the fuse, really, and like maybe like a centimeter of bar of TNT sticking out of the barrel at this point. But I mean, as far as you can tell, it looks like that would definitely seal it.
Cool. Then I will point towards the rest at the barrel. Look, I fixed it.
Everyone else, you
leaks.
see that what Tazros has done is pulled the plug out of the barrel and replaced it with a stick of TNT, which is now sticking out of the barrel. It does seem to be sealing it. The fuse end is sticking out of the barrel.
Snow backs away very quickly.
Yeah, I'm gonna sort of intercede myself between all of this and Hazana. Like, let's
While they've
not
all
take
been
any unnecessary risk here.
doing this, I just wandered a bit off and transformed into myself, and then started having dinner.
Given how much I was playing with black powder during the last episode, would I know how to remove the fuse, or would I know enough to remove the fuse from the black powder? Because it's not a friction strip; it's just literally a piece of deck cord, basically, into the black powder, isn't it? So would I know how to do that?
Are you about to do bomb defusal on this?
You can
Well, a barrel
certainly
fill.
you can certainly try.
Ah, yeah. What would you like me to roll?
So that's what you're going to attempt to remove the fuse from the stick of TNT sticking out of the barrel of ale. Is that where we're at right now?
Yeah, because
Okay.
it's it's not going to light without a flame or something. So it's a pretty safe operation, I reckon.
Okay. Give me an intelligence check, just a straight intelligence check on this one.
Okay. 10.
I mean, it would make sense that if the thing you light isn't in the stick anymore, that would definitely make sense to just pull that out.
Okay, then I'm going to cast Mage Hand, retreat 30 feet, and then use the Mage Hand to delicately remove the fuse from the TNT that Taz is stuck in the fucking barrel.
Okay, so Tazros, where are you when this was happening?
I was still standing beside the barrel pointing at it. Look at my proud work.
Okay, so
It's just this extra hand now.
yeah, you don't notice because you're sort of standing pointing at it, but there is a sort of spectral hand that grasps onto the end of the fuse and starts to tug it and slide it upwards, and it pulls the fuse cord out of the stick of TNT, which then explodes.
Do I see a spring of ale coming out of the hole where the wire was?
Nope, you don't notice this. Like,
Then
Right.
it seems fine to me.
okay,
Okay, so yeah, I will bring my Mage Hand back to me, and I'll pocket the fuse as discreetly as I can,
okay. So now,
and then
just to clarify, now you have a broken cart, a barrel of ale with a stick of TNT in it, and no fuse. And the camp that you wanted to make camp in is about 200 feet away from this.
yeah,
Just to
I'm
clarify.
just heading over towards the camp. I'm just ignoring
Yeah.
everything Taz is doing.
Okay. So Taz, the rest of the team, I guess, are all walking off to this camp that Sir Tristan has pointed out to everyone.
I'm staying to my barrel wheel.
Okay.
But I can hide behind it now. So I'm just setting up my camp behind the ale. Not on the side of the rope, but the other side.
Okay. Right. For the rest of you setting up camp, not in the road next to an explosive barrel of ale, is there anything special you want to do while you're setting up camp?
I'll try and find a bird.
Yeah, there's birds around. You can see them flying around and in the trees and things like that.
Then I'll cast Animal Messenger. As I avoid a little piece of bread as food.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to instruct the bird to go to Hammer and find Lieutenant Hightower.
It sort of tilts its head as you say Lieutenant Hightower.
Well, I will describe the direction of the town and describe Lieutenant Hightower. And
Yeah,
then, so my message is going to be This is Hassan and Ailo reporting from Yohelia. All the villagers are dead. They have been lured to the mine with magic and killed by cultists and ooze. They are in the cultists are in league with the Triglavian attacks. We are on our way to Hamar.
So the message is up to 25 words, according to the spell. So-
I forgot to count.
I think that was over 25, but the core of it is it's Hosanna reporting from Eulea. The villagers are dead. Cultists. Any
Yeah.
other core bits?
Triglavians.
Triglavians, yeah.
Like the town is empty. I love the idea of actually
Go on.
like doing a telegram with a bird. So it's like village dead, cultists dead,
You could
Triglavian.
almost say it's a tweet.
Oh,
So the bird gives you a sort of nod of understanding, and it flaps its wings as it jumps off your arm and then flies up into the sky. And in the fading light, you lose sight of it pretty quickly.
So whilst that's going on, I'm going to just check over the arrows I've recovered, use some wax to coat my bowstring, and just generally check over my equipment.
So the rest of you, when you're setting up camp, you can see obviously Tazros is staying by the barrel. Hosanna seems to be talking to a bird, and as I say to the rest of you, this is just so Tristan and Snow, but you can't see where Siege is. Siege seems to be not there.
Snow screams really loud, both Tazros and Siege's name, and tells them to come back to camp.
I was at
Tazros,
camp with Hosanna.
Yeah, Tazros, you hear your name being screamed. Siege, you were cleaning your arrows. You are sitting in a room, and there's a woman you recognize, and she seems to be sort of using an old fashioned spindle, like making a yarn or something like that. And she asks you to pass her the shears so she can chop this later.
Can I see the shears easily from where I am?
Yeah, they're sitting right next to you on the table.
Okay, yeah. Grab the shears, hand them to her.
Thank you, dearie. And then you're back in the camp.
Cool. Just go back to doing what I was doing, as if nothing had happened.
Snow, you see Siege just kind of poof, appear just after you called for him.
Siege, where the heck do you keep going?
As part of this deal for these health potions that I got from this last back at whatever we were, where the festival was.
Well, let
in
us know.
Swaffton.
Let us know next time you leave, okay? Gosh.
Yeah, I'll let you know next time I disappear involuntarily. Thanks for that.
And so Snow continues to scream at Tazros to tell him to join us at camp.
He's ignoring you.
I scream more angrily.
He's still ignoring you. He's not leaving at the barrel whale.
Alright, so Snow gives up and then climbs a tree to make her little sleepy spot.
Okay.
By the way, one thing I need you all to know. A cake is not Elvis, it's Orkis. And it's an expression of amusement.
What?
Sorry, what?
The word cake that I wrote when I was a horse.
Oh.
It's orcish. Oh, I was just like, what the? Does make sense.
Well,
Only
thank you.
orcs and trolls use that kind of language.
yeah, I'm too pretty to speak Orcish.
Well, I don't speak it either, but can that work?
Hazana's been cavorting with the orcs again.
Okay, is anyone else doing anything before they turn in for the night?
Are we doing watches?
Yeah, that's my next thought.
I'll take first.
You're taking first, yeah?
Yeah. Well, it takes me
Right.
10 minutes to get the armor off, so there's no
Makes
sense
sense.
getting up, getting dressed.
I'll take second in that case.
Third.
I'll just take the last.
Okay. The night starts, Sir Tristan, as it does at the end of every day, and your first watch seems to go uneventfully, as far as you can tell. Who's on the second watch? Sorry. Snow.
Myself.
Siege. Okay.
Siege.
Siege, your watch starts. Sir Tristan takes off his armor. He doffs his armor, is the technical term, and prepares to turn in for the night behind your copse of trees. Tazros, what exactly were you doing? You're just sleeping by the barrel.
I'm just sleeping beside the barrel.
Okay.
I never take watches.
You are disturbed briefly by the sounds of whispering. It wakes you up as you're lying behind the barrel.
Can I hear what the whispers say?
So they're in common, and they appear to be. You can hear at least two voices, maybe three, and they're like, "I wonder what happened to this barrel? Like the cart's broken. Maybe they just left it here. Like, and then the guy, this is ale. Like, I mean, we could. Why don't we just camp here as well? We could break open this cask of ale, have a couple of ales, set up camp. Oh, it's like a nice place to." And you hear them, yeah, great idea, Right, hang on, let me. And then you hear like the sound of like wood kind of like cracking as someone hits the barrel as they're trying to sort of like open the barrel.
Okay, then I wanna, because I know the area because we've been here a long time. Is there like a tree near where the voice is coming from?
Not really. It was quite sort of like open farmland, kind of grassland area. The trees were small copses in the middle of it, and the nearest one, which the guys are camped behind, is about 200 feet away from you.
Okay. In that case, I will grab my great axe, hold it up toward above the barrel, and say with the deepest voice, "If you touch a barrel again, I will put you inside the barrel." Chopped up.
You hear the surprised voices. They go, "Oh, bloody hell!" As they see this axe appear, and they're like, "Oh, sorry. Is this your barrel?"
No, that's why I'm here.
Well, it looks like your cart's broken.
Yeah, that's for a reason. I want to take the barrel out of the cart.
Are you going to drink it?
Yeah, but not now. I was trying to sleep until you tried to do stuff with my barrel.
And you hear some whispering, and they're like, "Well, I mean, we could just split this barrel. It looks to me like there's three of us and one of you."
I'm stepping behind the barrel, and what do I see? Who do I see?
Three three fellas who have sort of rusty-ish scimitars and leather armor, all sort of like standing there. One of like the guy who's talking seems to be like, he has his hand on his scimitar.
Do you have food?
They kind of look at each other like, "We have rations."
Do you have a good story?
Yeah.
Then we will split it. I'm into a good story. And some food, of course.
They kind of look at each other and like, and they take a look at your axe, and like the scars and the still fresh blood on you, and they seem to be like sort of look at each other and they kind of all nod and like, okay. And the guy takes his hand off his sword, and the one who was hitting it kind of goes back to what he was doing, and he's like kind of carving a little hole on the side of the barrel, and then he like rocks it so that it rolls a little bit in like some ale, and he pulls out a little like traveling mug and then goes gluk, gluk, and then he like passes it, and then they all pass theirs over, and then one of them sort of goes into a pack and pulls out an extra one and fills it up as well, and like hands it to you and is like, "What's your name, traveler?"
My name is Tashros, and I will take a big chunk of the drink.
And they sort of like roll the barrel back so that the hole's up, and they cheered you and take a drink as well, and then
What are you guys' names?
My name is Porefel. The sort of the leader guy seems to be talking. He's like, "My name is Porefel, and this is Tuion, and this is Hueme."
Okay, so Porefra, Tuyong, and Fuemi.
Yeah, and they sort of all seem to like go into their packs and start like setting up their sort of like bedrolls and things like that. And they sort of sit down, and they in the shadow of the barrel, they sort of set up a little small campfire.
Cool. I will sit there next to it, like the barrel and them, and just have a relaxing conversation, I guess.
Yeah. So they share that they're travelers. They are always on the lookout for another score, another thing to get by on. They don't really have any homes to per se. They just can travel from area to area, sort of pick up work, maybe some guard work, stuff like that.
Okay, and now we'll tell a story about the abandoned town, which is you haven't check out, and especially the mine, because there's cool stuff down there.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that we're on our way to Hammer.
Mm-hmm. So every so often, someone gets up and they kind of like nudge the barrel and they roll the barrel over a little bit further towards the fire to like get the hole to pour some beer out, and then they tilt it back again.
So just
Yeah, I'm doing the same because I'm drinking like crazy.
Does Tashros tell about the group, but does say that he?
He's like 200 feet away from you guys. He didn't come with you.
Wait, does Tristan see like this fire or anything? Honestly,
So you're behind the copse specifically to be not really seen from the road, and it's a small fire in the shadow of the barrel itself. You don't see or hear anything at this point.
And also, it's Siege's watch anyway. So.
Siege's okay.
Oh, sorry, yes, it was Siege's watch. Yeah, you don't see or hear anything. They're not talking loudly. They're a couple hundred feet away. There's a row of trees between you and them. You don't notice anything. So as far as you're concerned, Siege, your watch proceeds uneventfully. Tazros, yeah, they seem like nice folks.
Yeah, as long as nothing strange is happening, I will continue to talk with them and just drinking and eating and just have a conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do. It's a nice evening. You have a bunch of ale. Again, every so often, tilting the barrel. You see the flames kind of going up the side of the barrel a little bit sometimes as you tilt it in order to get the ale to come out. But yeah, you guys have a great evening.
Great. And we will continue for the rest of the night if they are up to it. So.
Yeah. So the next few watches go uneventfully as well, and you wake up in the morning. The rest of the crew, that is, and yeah, you feel you've had the effects of a long rest.
Guessing now we pack up.
Yep. Let's find that drunken dwarf then.
We've
Head
got
back
half a
towards.
day's walking to meet the town.
I'm glad that he broke the card.
Amen.
My problem
You-
to move it.
Yeah, well, you gave him a huge favor, so hopefully he pays it back one day, more than gold.
So you head back to the road, the rest of you guys, and you find Tazros passed out, and a couple of other people you don't recognize all sort of passed out as well. The barrel is there as it was last night, and there's the remnants of a fire next to it and some scorch marks on the side of the barrel lapping up the side of it. Sort of they go up where it was sort of rolled over a few times, and there's some black soot around the homemade plug.
Is the Snow looks over at Siege. Should we move that? Pointing at
it's-
TNT, yeah.
There's no fuse in it. I removed it last night on purpose, but it doesn't hurt to remove it. I mean, the fire's gone out now, so I don't think it's a danger.
Do we get any sense of like maliciousness from these three passed out people?
I mean,
Can we tell what happened the night before?
They sleep maliciously.
You know, like vampires, how they sleep, like that's malicious.
Just lying there.
Yeah.
You can't tell. These are
I'm
just
going
sleeping people. They're
to-
wearing armor. They've got weapons. They've all got like there's the signs of some spilt ale, and you know that way if you ever go into like a bar or something after there's been like a night out and it's not fully been cleaned yet, and the smell of like stale beer. That's the kind of smell that's going on right now. The especially like the smell of beer when it soaks into the ground and it sort of like festers of it.
Does it look like someone scraped their leg, got blood all over sheets, and then vomited on a roof?
No, it doesn't look that great. That would be a 10 out of 10 evening. This is clearly only like a 6 out of 10.
That was a good evening, to be fair. Okay. I will put my hand on my rapier, just cautiously seeing that Taz is okay and hasn't been harmed, and then none too gently kick him awake.
Taz,
you
you
drunk
got woken up
bastard.
by Siege giving you a kick in the ribs. You've also had a long rest. Just to be clear.
Introduce us to your friends, lad.
Who are you?
Who am I? I hope you remember by now, laddie. Who are your new friends?
Yeah, now I know who you are. Were you here as well last night?
No, or I wouldn't be asking who they are.
Do you want some ale?
No, I don't want some ale, thank you. I want to get on the road to Hamar.
Okay, let's go. And I tried to stand up and just casually try to step over the three guys.
Yeah, you can do. So
Like
the barrel,
they don't exist for me.
The barrel is there. It's got a hole in it, but yay big now, which we were using to pour beer from last night. It sloshes a bit more. You definitely made a bit of a dent in it last night with your friends. Yeah. What would you like to do? Tazros?
Oh, I wanna use. I have a dagger. I wanna grab my dagger, slice on my bedroll, and plug the other hole they made with pieces of bedroll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you can shove it in. Looks okay. Like, you're no expert.
And then I
in this,
wanna
but yeah.
use the rope to like make a rope thing around it, so I can drag the barrel along.
I mean, you would know that it would be easier to roll than drag.
Yeah, but rolling might spill some more because it's going over the holes. So if I drag it, I will keep the holes up.
Okay.
In my dwarven brain.
You tell me how you're going to fashion this rope around the barrel to drag it, bearing in mind it doesn't have like hooks and stuff like that.
No, I just want to like loop it lengthwise and widthwise, is that? And then just like You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like one time from top bottom and one to left right, and then make a cross kind of section, and then just drag from that point.
Okay. So, give me an athletics when you start pulling this to see how it feels. I mean, it feels heavy. It feels really heavy. You feel like you're going to be moving at half speed with this, and if you did it for the full day, you would be exhausted from doing so. You're really like having to pull this thing. It's like the tip
But I
of the
would still
barrel
have
is
my
like
barrel of ale.
pulling into the ground, so you're like pulling along with it.
But I would still have the barrel of ale, so it's worth it.
Okay. So everyone else, you see Tazros making this rope contraption around the barrel and then starting to pull it, and it's like dragging through the ground as he goes.
Snow speaks up, says, Taz, you drank all the ale. Let's just go to town. We have so much gold, we can just buy more ale.
There'll be decent dwarven ale in the town, laddie. This is just human swill. You want some decent quality stuff? The faster we get there, the faster we can get some ale down you.
But it would be a waste.
No,
Yeah.
you and your friends drank it, remember?
They were nice fellows.
Yeah, leave them it as a gift and maybe they'll come find you in town.
I will grab the dagger and try to write Tazros inside of it, but very poorly. And then leave my old insignia of rank, leave it on top of the barrel, and say, now we can go.
Okay. So you're heading onwards as a group, without a barrel of ale and without someone being a horse, towards Hama. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank fuck.
Yeah.
Well played, Snow.
I feel like we probably could benefit from taking those guys with us.
We're done horsing around.
Yes.
How long? How
You were
long?
waiting
How
for that
long
one,
were you
didn't you?
preparing for that one? Yeah.
You want to wake them up? Do you want to wake them up, Tristan?
I do. But in a slightly less offensive way than like stomping on their ribs, which is apparently how we wake the dwarf.
He chonky.
I
won't-
don't know. I've never owned a dog. I don't know what the protocol is. So I'll like stand near them and kind of clap, I guess. Try and make a noise that's not kind of hitting anybody.
It's a very tuneful clap, but they don't even seem
So
to react.
revelatory.
Yeah, they don't even seem to react. Like, you know, one of them's still holding the like he's obviously fallen asleep holding his ale, and it's like dribbled a little bit down, but he's still like not even spilled the last like third of it. It's just like he's always just fallen asleep. It's completely stationary.
All right, in that case, too slovenly. Let's leave them behind.
I kick Farfarol.
Powerful. Yeah. So
Yeah, that
he
one.
like he like and he like he looks around. He sees all these other people, and he like grabs his the handle of his sword and goes to stand up. So Tristan.
So I'll like raise a hand in a non-threatening kind of like, it's okay. I'm bigger and stronger than you, but I'm not going to hit you unless you force me, kind of way. And just like say hello, ask who the guy is.
He's sort of like half to his knees, and he's got his hand on his sword. He's like, "Who are you?" He glances at Tazros, and he sees you sort of standing there with them as well. He's like, "Tazros, are these people with you?"
Yes, this is my friend Tristan, and this is Farfarol.
I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna give him a look like, Tazros, are these people with you?
These are my other friends from last night.
You made friends last night? What?
And
You could have been here and drinking ale and having an amazing night.
Powerful stands up
You
and
missed
sort of
out,
like
though.
takes his hand slightly cautiously away from his sword, and he sort of like shakes his head slightly to clear, like still waking up, and he sort of like kicks a little bit Shion and Hoeme to wake them up, and gives them a little nudge, and they sort of also start awake and look a little bit, surprised. But Porafil's like, no, these people are with Tazros, and everyone sort of
These are my
stands up.
friends I travel with.
Hello. Where were you last night? If you were traveling with Tazros.
There's a cops just down the street. That is just down the road path. That is slightly safer than camping on the road.
Okay. And you just left your traveling companion here, I guess? Is that fair
I'm
to
gonna
say?
look at either Snow or Siege for that. Like, your dog, you deal with it.
I'll step up as quiet as I can from behind them and say, "No, laddie, he left us," and just grin at them with my head down, horns out, the works.
Powerful looks at you and he's like, Tiefling. I see you have the same way of introducing yourself as other Tieflings. You think you're scary.
Well, makes a
Just
change. Most people aren't used to my kind.
I've met plenty of Tieflings in my time.
Sounds like you're a travelled man then. Maybe you've gone as far as Hamar in your time.
Yeah, we've just come from her.
Well, do you fancy accompanying us down the road? I'm sure Taz has got a few more tales to tell you.
We just came from Hama. We're going the other direction. We've left Hama. We're on our way from Hama. We're actually heading to Lashkai at the minute.
You're not going to find much there, laddie.
No, Lashkai was the other town.
Yeah, I'm
I
trying
told them about the mine, which they should check out.
I don't think. I don't. It sounds like there's not much there. Although we might avail ourselves of some of the supplies that you said were lying around before we head on our way to Lashkai.
Is there anything we should expect on the road ahead to Hamar? I know it's only half a day away, but any input would be gratefully received.
I mean, it's just a road, not a huge amount. We didn't see anything. They sort of look at each other. We didn't see anything worth mentioning. I mean, the only thing I would say is just watch out for the guards in Hama. I wouldn't trust them. To be honest,
Anything in particular about them?
I wouldn't trust them. They're dodgy folk. But if you do go to Hama, and he turns to Tazros and he's like, "Look, go to the Shattered Cup. That's a reputable drinking establishment." And he sort of gives you the knowing nod. He's like, "That's where I would go. The people there won't ask any questions." Jardim is the owner. He's a good man. If you tell him Powerful sent you, I'm sure he'll give you his time.
Thank you.
Well, you'll be on your way and we'll be on ours then, laddie. Appreciate your time.
Aye.
Oh,
And Poema
Powerful.
seems to quickly nudge the thing and fills up his little tankard before he goes to leave.
I wanna grab my insignia of rank back,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanna come close to Peripheral, the guy which I call Peripheral,
Powerful,
and
yeah.
just say you can have the barrel because it was amazing last night. Funny stories. Haven't had a good laugh like this in many hours.
I don't know how we're going to move it, to be honest. It's still pretty big and full, and it's got at least one hole. And then he takes a look at the plug, and he's like, and whatever that is, it's sort of seems to be absorbing some of the liquid. I don't know how long that's going to hold as a plug. Maybe we can dry it out. We'll try and dry that, I guess.
That's dwarven ingenuity for
We're
you.
leaving anyway, so maybe hide it here. You can come back for good stuff, like your sneaky ale spot, because everyone has a sneaky ale spot, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe we can build a tavern here one day, and they all laugh.
Oh yeah, I will definitely come visit if I remember.
You can call it
Which I probably won't, but still.
the Exploding Barrel. Yeah, so they seem to be like ready to go, and although they are willing to not be openly distrustful to you, Sir Tristan and Hosanna and everything like that, you get the feeling that they don't entirely trust you. Like they're, cautious of you. They're not getting too close. They're not, turning their back on you, but they're not being aggressive. They've got their hands away from their weapons. They're just kind of keeping a close eye on you, and they make to leave. What are you trying to insight from that?
I was trying to establish whether their ill behavior was as a result of something they were keeping from me or some way they expected me to behave as regards to them. But frankly, I am perplexed either way.
Yeah, they just seem like they're distrustful
Just
of
weird
you.
guys.
Yeah. Yeah, so they get their stuff and they start to head off and they goodbye Tazros.
Bye.
Thank you for the ale. And they make their way south away from you. So you have a barrel of ale with some TNT still sticking out of it and a hole in it, and it's half a day to Hama. You have to pack of cigarettes, half a tank of fuel. It's dark, and you're wearing sunglasses.
I just start walking.
Yeah, we'll start walking.
Tadros, the barrel, although it can't because it's an inanimate object, it looks like it's crying.
Stop it, for God's sake.
Tesla is walking backwards and just waving until it's going out of like sight and just then continue with the rest.
The barrel seems to nod towards you as if in thanks at liberating it, and then it keeps falling and it like sort of rolls a little bit and you see ale spill out across the path.
No.
So you head onwards towards Hama. The sun rises up. The heat burns off the initial morning dew, and there's some light ground fog as the water vapor in the air sort of evaporates very quickly. And you can see through a very slight haze along all these farmlands and so on, and in the distance, after a couple of hours, you see the signs of a settlement and the outlying farms and buildings, and then behind it a much larger town, larger than any of the towns that you've come through so far as a group. Lashkai was the first major town that you passed through, and that had a number of different establishments and so on. That seemed to be about maybe half to a third the size of Hama as it sprawls in front of you. A big river seeming to cut through it as you kind of come down the hill towards it. It's a gentle hill, so you've got a good view across the town. You see this river snaking through the middle of the town itself.
Oh, thank the gods, civilization.
Yeah, let's try and get inside the city whilst it's light, unless we get accosted by these guards that Peripheral mentioned.
So this town has walls that kind of go around it. There's some towers. There's a main gate that the road is clearly taking you towards. And outside the gate, there's various stables. There's stalls. There's markets. There's even sort of like buildings and things like that. As they're all traders coming by. Maybe the gates have closed in the evening, so there's some businesses have sprung up outside to deal with late comers and travelers in the night and things like that. The gate itself is open. The portcullis is up, and there's a number of guards there, and they seem to be sort of checking and searching the carts that are going through in both directions. They're sort of having a glance over them. They're checking paperwork, and they're just basically being the border control to this town.
You had me at border control. Let's introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
Yep, so if you walk up towards them, so you pass through a sort of impromptu square with some of these outlying buildings and stables and things like that. There, you notice that there is. It seems to be stones that are set out in such a way through the entrance itself, with gaps for wheels of the carts to go through. And there's a number of merchants' carts that are all parked at this stable, and a number of carts that are being set out to go in. And you see people coming in as you're walking up. They sort of ride up and they start loading their stuff from their carts onto the other carts from this stable, and some other carts seem to be going in through the entrance itself. As you walk up to the guards are like, "State your business in Hama."
Tana.
We are seeking a passage to Amar. And we are also looking for Lieutenant Hightower.
Lieutenant Hightower of the Imperial Guard.
Yes,
What are you looking for him for?
he sent us on a mission and we would like to report back.
Do you have any goods to declare? Are you here for trade or anything? Are you bringing anything in to sell?
No,
Okay. Then please, you may enter. I must ask, I see you have weapons. In Hama, it is an offence to draw your weapon. If there is any issues that require weapons, please call on the guards before drawing your own. Once you draw your own weapon, you'll be treated as a hostile combatant within these city walls. Please enter. And he steps aside to let you go through.
Is a flute a weapon?
A flute is a musical instrument, my furry friend.
Okay. I'm just making sure I can earn my stay at some of the local inns.
I mean, if you have any talent, then I'm sure you will be most welcome in some of these local establishments. There's many that are certainly lacking in talent, that's for sure.
I drop some sick beats as we walk in.
Nice. So you walk through and you start like you're beatboxing and playing your flute at the same time. And you see like the guards are doing their best to remain professional. They sort of slightly nodding their head to the beat, like, yeah, sick beat, bro.
Yeah.
It's basically like a fairy version of Lindsay Sterling moving through the gate.
Yeah. So you enter the town and it's busy. It's a lot more dense than the places that you've been before. Since you became a group. Snow, you've been to places that are as dense as this before. You've from Amamaki, which is a metropolis, not too dissimilar than this. But this is clearly a town that they built the walls and then they have kept the town within the walls such that it is got quite compact. You know, buildings have been raised over the years, and then 3 buildings have been built in its spot. So they're more narrow, they're taller. You see them almost like leaning over each other in the streets. The main streets are quite large, with houses and buildings and shops seeming to like compete for attention, to be slightly further out, but they're still being held back as all the buildings go up and lean over. But this intertwining all these buildings and streets and stuff, there's all these really narrow alleys and things where maybe the construction hasn't been quite as regimented as some of the main thoroughfares. And you see, you know, it looks like almost the buildings seem to be touching at the top, just casting some of these alleys into deep shadow as you pass by them.
What was the name of that place we were supposed to go?
The Shattered Cup.
Should we go there first, or should we find Lieutenant Hightower?
We've still got most of the day ahead of us. If we find Lieutenant Hightower, then we can relax in the evening, I guess. And trying to get our bearings for the next station there. I don't know. Hazana, Tristan, thoughts?
True.
yeah,
That's fine,
so
Lieutenant.
find him.
Okay. Taz, any objections, lad?
You weren't even asking me.
I just asked you that. I'm just checking with you.
As the final person.
Yeah,
Because you're the most important, clearly.
You're the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go find the douchebag and then just go to shut up.
Okay, we'll go and look for Lieutenant Hightower.
So, where are you going to look for Lieutenant Hightower?
Last time... 2 seconds. Last time we found the Captain Bearclaw, whatever his name is, at the Lawmaster's office. Is there a Lawmaster's office, or can we find directions to a Lawmaster's office that's likely to give us directions from there?
I mean, this is a bustling metropolis. From looking around, you don't immediately see anything obvious that says Lawmasters or anything. The main thoroughfare that you're kind of walking down has all these like various shops of this, that, and the other thing. There's folk bustling around. There's occasionally you pass guards. Some seem to be patrolling in twos. Others standing at intersections, keeping an eye on things. But no obvious sign that says, "Here be Lawmasters."
Can we ask one of the guards that are patrolling?
Sure. What would you like to ask them?
Excuse me, laddie, do you know where the Lawmasters is? We've got business with the Imperial Guard. Maybe you can point us in the right direction.
Are you looking for the Lawmaster's office for Hamat, or are you looking for the Imperial Guard? These are different.
Imperial Guard, if you know where they are, laddie, I'd be appreciative.
You can find them on the main square, and he directs you down the road that you're traveling. He's like, head all the way to the bottom, and you will hit the main square. If you don't go off this road, that's where you'll end up.
Thanks for your time, and I'll relay that back to the party. Apparently the Imperial Guard are separate from the Lawmaster, unsurprisingly, I guess. Played. But yeah, head down towards the main square. They should all be there.
Excellent.
So that we're heading
Make our way there.
So
uh-huh.
you head down this road and you pass occasionally street performers. Some of them have like a rope set out in like a semicircle, and they're performing various different types of entertaining feats. Some of them seem to be doing acrobatics. A couple of them are musicians. There's one appears to be doing like fire juggling. Like you don't even see what he's juggling. It just seems to be balls of fire, and he's like juggling them around. And he's doing some tricks and things like that. And you hear the crowd sort of like ooh, and you hear like the smattering of polite applause occasionally as music from the previous guy that you've passed sort of like just gently washes over the sound of the hustle and bustle of the town. After a couple of minutes of walking, you reach towards the main square, and the shops seem to be even tighter here, as if they're all trying to crowd in as close to the main square as possible, where all the business would be. They're all trying to get in right onto this square, but they can't quite get there because they're not on the square itself. And the roadway opens up into a large paved square. It's all cobblestones. There's a couple of fountains dotted around. The main sort of city hall is a big building, one of the largest you've seen so far. A couple of stories tall, with a large sort of bell tower sticking up from it, and with a mechanical clock with all sorts of ornamentation and little hatches and tracks that come out of it. It looks like maybe mechanical things come out and do some sort of show at some point or something like that. On the square itself, there's a number of inns and taverns with tables and chairs set out front. People are eating and drinking on them. There's shops with wares on display and people sitting around. Just seems to be a pleasant area. And looking around, you see on one of the sides of the square, there is a building with the symbol and the colours that you recognise to be the Imperial Guard.
Straightforward to find.
Yeah, I'll follow your lead.
We go inside.
Yeah, so you make your way over to the to the Imperial Guard office, and it is the doorway is open, and you go in, and there is a locked or a closed door in front of you, and then you kind of hatch to the side. So you're in almost like a waiting area. There's a couple of benches in that area, and this hatch with a person sitting behind it with half moon glasses, which are down at the end of their nose, and they're sort of like their head up, and they look like they're reading some sort of local newspaper.
Asana is getting ready to roll her eyes, and then she goes over and taps the table.
Yes.
We're here to see Lieutenant Hightower.
She leans over the counter and sort of looks.
Did I stutter?
Listen, Missy. Do you have an appointment?
I sent him a message last night. I did not get a reply from him.
So that'll be a no then. Would you like to make an appointment?
Can we have an appointment right now? Snow just screams at the dude.
As the Tapaxi says, right now.
She pulls like slowly like across the table like a big leather bound ledger and like I'm afraid right now is not convenient.
I'm afraid you have to change something.
Doesn't look like there's anything that can be moved. Would you like to book an appointment?
When is possible?
I can do it just before sundown today.
We'll take it.
Thank you. You're so generous, accepting my appointment like that. And who shall I say the appointment is for?
Hasana Nailo.
Her Ghana? Sorry?
Sana.
Sana.
Harzana.
Right. Well, it's in the book. Now, if you don't mind.
Just as a heads up, dude, when you banged the desk then your like colour on the screen changed, it went really pink. I don't know if that's intentional or not.
It wasn't intentional, but it's a bonus.
Magic effect. Boom.
So she goes back to reading whatever paper she was reading before.
So, does that mean we can go to the Shadow Cup now?
Might as well.
I'm gonna head out into town and do a spot of shopping if you don't mind. I'll meet you at the Shadow Cup later. No
Asana,
objections.
Tristan, do you want to go to the Shadow Cup with me? And Snow?
I'm going wherever Hazana is.
I was thinking about finding a nice place, but I suppose we can give it a look at first. Could we
Yay!
do a nice bath.
We could ask at the Shattered Cup if they have some nicer inns.
Surely they're going to tell us about every place that's nicer.
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
I mean, if I would ask you about a better bard, would you point me in that direction?
Well, first of all, I'm the best bard, so no. But if I found one, then yes.
Do you think they would think any different in the Shattered Cup?
Yeah, but the Shattered Cup knows it's kind of run down. Like, I'm a terrible spellcaster. I know you're better than me.
Okay.
Where do we go?
The Shattered Cup.
Yeah, but where is it?
I don't know.
Why don't you know?
You can
You're a
ask.
smart person.
Well, it was not my friend, it was your friend who knew about the place.
Is that person still sitting over there? That lady with the glasses and the
If you haven't left
Paper?
the thing, then yeah, she's still behind the desk.
I wanna like grab the paper, like chuck it down like this, and just say like, "Do you know where the Shattered Cup is?"
I could save you the bother. Our cells are just down here. Why don't we cut the middleman out?
Do they serve ale?
They serve ale. Yes, every tavern in this forsaken city sells ale.
But I mean the jails. Do they serve ale?
No, we don't serve ale in the jails.
Then I wanna know where the Shattered Cup is, cause I want ale.
Shattered Cup. You,
Yes.
If you want to go to Shattered Cup, it is in the east quarter of the city. I'm sure when you get there, the residents will be able to point you to that area.
All right,
that
thank you
tavern.
very much, and I will leave the paper and just
Hmm.
go left, cause I like. No, go right, cause east is right.
I think I'll go to one of the places here at the main square.
What are you looking for, Harzan?
A nice tavern.
Yeah, so
One
there's
where-
a bunch of nice looking taverns in this part of the town, all sort of like lined up. They've got like wooden paneling on the outside. There's tables outside. There's like special boards, and you see sort of upmarket looking people sort of sitting around drinking from smaller than average tankards. Some of them are even drinking things like wine and stuff like that.
Any of them that looks somewhat galante.
Give me a perception. So you can tell that one of them in the corner, the colors, you can't see the name or anything from here, but the colors of the wood and the detailing remind you of the Galente flag from where you are. So if anywhere was Galente influenced, that would be a good place to go.
I'll then look at the group and say, I'll go over there and stay. If you're going anywhere else, then we can meet here in front of the office.
Okay.
Meet back here at sundown then.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll see you in a bit.
Okay, so Harzan, are you heading across to that tavern in the corner of the square?
Yeah.
Okay. As you get closer, you can see that it's called the Nix's Drop, and it's got a small maybe yay big set of flags hanging just above the door. Each one is just like the Galente flag, sort of small little flags across above the main door, small enough that you would only see it as you're getting closer. From a distance, it's just the colours. The wood trim around the nice front of the building is being inlaid with some of the different colours of the Galente Empire from which you hail from. And you see various people sitting around outside drinking beverages.
Is Tristan coming with me?
I absolutely am. But in a like arms crossed, non-judgmental way.
Are you capable of that?
Hey, some people deserve respect. That's that's all there is to it.
So if you're heading inside, when you get inside, you see it's all very wooden and it's all highly polished. Some of the polish is from obviously being looked after and so on. Some of it is from just you can tell this is like an older establishment. This place has been around for a while, so from heavy use, the wooden floor is slightly trodden in the main sort of thoroughfare that goes from the door to the bar, as generations of people have walked across this wood, and it's never been like resurfaced. It's just been kind of polished and cleaned and kept good, so you can see the wear patterns as people have moved to the bar. There's stools and tables that are all highly polished, but old, again giving the impression that this place has been looked after, but it is not been resurfaced. It's not been modernized. It's all old stuff. And behind the bar, there is a tall, half-elf looking woman. You can tell she's half-elf because she's got elven features, but her ears are very much rounded like a human's. And she is polishing some cutlery.
Just I don't misunderstand you. So this is like a tavern where you can also get rooms and stuff for the night, right?
You don't know at this point. Like it's like going into like a busy European city centre, sort of an old town city centre, and seeing like a sort of traditional looking bar is what you've seen so far, and you've walked into that.
Oh, and then I can just ask. So I go over to the half-elven lady and ask her. Hello.
Hello, what can I get for you?
I would like a hot meal for my companion and I, and bath.
Certainly. I'm sure we can arrange that. What kind of food are you looking for? We have local Amarnian delicacies. We also have a couple of specialities from further afield. What are you after here today?
Something from Kale.
Kale. We might have some kale blue steak left. Let me just check with the kitchen. And she sort of like pops her head through a hatch behind the bar and comes back. And she's like, "Yep, you're in luck. We have a couple left. We could certainly do you kale blue steak each."
Yes, please.
Sure. So it will be 1 gold piece per steak, and I'm assuming you want some drinks as well with that.
We do.
Excellent. So that will be 1 silver piece a piece as well. And you mentioned about the bath. I presume, and she sort of glances over you, that you're also looking for somewhere to stay.
Yeah, might as well stay here.
Yeah. So we have some rooms. They're not particularly large, but we do have some. We have 2 rooms available, and they are 5 gold pieces per night.
All right, then 2 rooms one night.
Okay, so that's 5 gold pieces for just one room, or did you say 2 rooms there?
2.
2 rooms, no problem. And we have 1 gold piece for your food, and it was 1 silver piece for the ale. So that makes total 12 gold pieces and 2 silver pieces, please.
I hand 122 silver pieces.
1 second. And she starts
Just
counting
like
them. You don't have the gold?
I just want to get rid of this.
Well, bear with. And after like
I
a
can
minute,
also pay you in copper if you want.
Yeah, at least it wasn't copper.
that will be not required. After like a minute or so of counting, she's like, "Yep, all there. Take a seat anywhere you like. I'll bring you food over as soon as it's ready. Would you like your ales now or when with the food?"
Just with the food.
Okay. And she gestures to the tables that are free.
And then when we get to the table, I just smile at Tristan. This is like home for me.
You see like
somewhat.
you see some of like maps of like sort of different regions of the Galente space that you're familiar with, and some carvings of famous landmarks around the areas, and like some that you recognize, some that you don't. Yeah, it seems to be a nice establishment. So while this is happening, Snow and Tazros, what are you doing? Because Siege wanted to go off a bit shopping, but what's Snow and Tazros doing?
Shattered
Good
cup.
Shattered Cup.
Okay, we'll come back to you then. So Siege, what is it you're looking for?
So this might take a few minutes, so bear with me. So I'm looking for a place to sell the statuettes. I'm looking for a place to buy some new armor, and also looking for somewhere to buy a bow if possible.
So on the main street that you came down, there was various shops that seemed to be art shops and general sort of. There was shops that sold like knickknacks and various bits and pieces in general, sort of trinkets and things like that. You did pass a couple of places that they sold armor and bows and things like that. So you could, without too much difficulty, it looks like you could probably find those things that you're looking for. So the first thing you want to do would be sell those statuettes, I'd imagine.
Yeah, before I step into the shop, though, what I'm going to do is use distort value on them to make them appear as worth more than they are.
Mm-hmm.
And having, like I said, previously worked that night we just had on my bow and my armor, taking care of it, I'd imagine it's now in a decent condition rather than battle worn.
Right. So this is a first level spell. Do you get this as part of one of your native spellcasting things?
No. So it's part of the Arcane Trickster. Lots one of the spells I choose is a magician spell.
Okay.
Magician type spell.
So do you use it natively then, basically, is what I was asking? Or do you have to use a spell slot for it?
I'd have to use a first level spell slot for it, yeah.
Okay, so it is on one item. You cast it on an object no more than 1 foot on a side, doubling its perceived value. So you could cast it on one of the statues or your weapon, so on. You could cast it multiple if you use multiple spell slots.
Okay. Well, I'll cast it on 2 of the statuettes and leave one as it appears, as its standard appearance.
So you have 2 that seem to be glistening with a couple of jewels in it from the illusionary magic that you've cast on it. and one just regular silver looking.
Yes.
And you've come across one of these shops that has, you see very similar looking sort of statuettes and art objects and so on through the windows as you go by.
Yeah, so I'll wander in and approach the shopkeeper, owner, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm. Hello! What can I do for you? Do you see anything that you like?
Yeah, you keep a very nice shop.
Fantastic!
Unfortunately,
Can I interest you in this? And he pulls over like a portrait of some, maybe a ruler or something. They look very aristocratic. It's a very nice painting. Like, can I interest you in this?
The brushstroke's exquisite, but I was more looking at see if I could interest you in something of mine that I picked up on my travels, and I'll pull out one of the statuettes that's been distorted.
Oh, lovely! May I?
Of course, please go ahead.
He pulls out a little sort of like monocle thing, and starts like, "Oh, this is certainly lovely." What's your spell save DC?
12.
This is an exquisite piece. Where did you come across this?
There's a mine near the town of Yahalia, and there's some trinkets such as this at the base of it. I've got a couple more if you are interested.
Please get them out. Let me have a look. I'm sure we can strike a deal.
So I'll pull out the other nice shiny one, then I'll pull out the one that's not been magicked and say apologies for the last one. That's obviously from slightly less value, but we can make a discussion about that. Make a discussion. Yeah.
Takes all of them and he like puts the little like thing back in his eye. And he's like, ooh. Oh, I can see this one here. The workmanship is clearly a master craftsman's been making some good work here. This one here, as you pointed out, does look like it's had a couple of nicks and some damage. Not that's something that would dissuade me. And he like gestures around at all the different sort of knickknacks. Clearly, a lot of them are pre-owned in his establishment. He's like, listen, for this one here, and he points at the non-magicked one. I can give you 20 gold pieces for this one, and he holds up the first one you presented to him. This one is a lovely piece. I can offer you 45 gold pieces for this, and this one here though, it doesn't look as good as I first thought when I examined it a bit more closely. It definitely seemed to be some fundamental issues with it. I think I'll have to offer you 20 gold pieces for that one as well. So a total of 40 for these two and 45 for this one. However, I will accept. I will give you 60 gold pieces and this painting that you loved so much, if you would like instead.
Alas, such an artifact will be lost on my travels. I am, as you can tell from my appearance, on the road a lot, so as much as I'd like to take it with me, and I really appreciate the offer, I'll have to take the coin at this time, unfortunately. But maybe I'll come back and visit you sometime.
In that case, do we have a deal then? So that would be 85 gold pieces for the three of them.
I think that's a good deal, and I'll hold that at hand.
He does the sort of like high, coming in like that, like handshake, and then sort of takes them across the table, and then like you hear them like and then fall into like a basket below the desk in front of him.
Cool.
And he hands you 85 gold pieces.
Oh, awesome. So then I will walk out, and what's closest, the armourers or the bow shop?
It's probably equidistant. Like they're probably in the same row of shops, in the same way that you get you drive down a street and you've got all of the car dealerships are all together. It's probably the same idea here.
Okay, so I'll go into the armourers first then.
Mm-hmm.
And again,
there's a man like working away like a piece of leather. Like you can see him like using some sort of weird contraption, like pushing these like studs through the leather and like working it and getting the like on a like torso form as he's working away. He's a dwarf man. He's got long black hair, shaved at the sides, sort of like long here, quite big and goes all the way down his back, but shaved along the sides of his head.
Good afternoon, sir. That's a
Afternoon.
nice piece of armor you're working on there. I'm looking for something similar. I wonder if you can help me at all.
What are you looking for specifically? Maybe I can help.
I'm looking for an upgrade to what I'm wearing currently, gesturing to my leather armor. So I'm looking for studded leather armor.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we can manage some of that. That's my speciality, in fact. It does look like what you're wearing is pretty poor craftsmanship. I don't know where you got that, but if you're out in the wilds, I would certainly recommend an upgrade to one of our many options here. And he gestures at the things like there's some leather armor, there's some very nice studded leather armor, there's some scale mail, there's even some plate mail. There's a set of full plate which is only about half finished. You can see it's got like bits missing from it and then sort of like rough parts on the side where it's clearly not been finished to be formed.
I'm looking for some studded leather armor. Have you got any that would fit my frame?
You have a bit more of a slender frame than many of my customers, but I'm sure I have something that would fit you. He pulls out like a set and then I think this one would do you well, and he holds up and it's a set of regular looking studded leather armor. He's like, however, I can't help but noticing your appearance. I might have a custom set that I bought a while ago off of a traveller who no longer needed it. Perhaps I can interest you in that. And he, 1 second, I shall fetch it. And he goes into the back. And he comes back out, and it's another set of stud leather armor, but rather than regular brown leather, it's inlaid with bits of red strips of leather and black leather, and it's in sort of like a fire pattern, and it looks very elaborate and very ornamental. Hand on head, both of them at the stats of studded leather armor.
Thanks. As you've noticed from my appearance, I do tend to garner enough attention as it is, so whilst that set is absolutely fantastic and I'll be very interested in it normally, I think I'll be best not throwing attention to myself, so if you don't mind, sir, I'll go for the standard set. Would you perchance be interested in taking this leather armor and making a profit out of it?
He looks at like the various like claw marks and rips in it and stuff like that. He's like, listen, no offense, but I don't think there's much I can do with that. It looks like scrap value to me, so it's not something I'd be interested in taking off you. I'm a leather worker. I'm an armor smith. I'm not a miracle worker.
No, I appreciate that. I had to make the offer though. So how much for the standard leather armor, please?
Be 50 gold pieces.
Okay, I'll hand over 50 gold pieces.
He hands you the studded leather armor.
Awesome. And somewhere along my travels, I've converted a lot of my gold into, or silver and copper into gold, so I'm just going to hand him 50 gold pieces straight up.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can hand him it in silver and gold and whatever, as long as you
Yeah,
decrement the amounts correctly. I'm not that bothered.
Yeah, I've got it all in gold on my character sheet because I can't be asked.
That is fine. That is fine.
Cool. So yeah, I'll hand that over to him then.
He takes it and he pops it into his little coin pouch, and he hands you the leather armor, and he hands you a little small obloid piece of parchment with a stamp on it. He's like, there you are. If you ever any issues with it, come back and see as soon as possible. I'm sure we can sort something out.
Much obliged, sir. And then I'll exit.
And the stamp,
look for the
the stamp
brochure.
on it says Barrelheim Fine Armors.
Barrelheim.
Barrelheim Fine Armors.
Thank you very much.
So what else are you looking for? You're looking for bowsmith.
Bow shop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. You see one conveniently right next door.
Awesome. I will wander straight in and repeat my same spiel. Hi, I'm looking for a longbow.
The woman behind the counter is a short halfling woman, and she kind of looks at you and she's like, Well, you've come to the right place, that's for sure. Take your pick. Longbows, short bows, wide bows, tall bows, all the bows.
Cool. I will just grab a longbow off the wall.
Careful with the merchandise. That is a fine piece of handcrafted killing machine right there. Of course, I expect you're only using it for hunting and not anything as uncouth as shooting other fellows. Although looking at you, perhaps maybe that's exactly what you're looking for.
Well, I won't tell no tales. You don't tell no lies. Aye.
I don't know what that means. Would you like to buy
That's
the bow?
fine then. I'd like to buy the bow, and I think I'm okay for arrows. I've got 30 of them. Yeah. Are there any special arrows?
I mean, all the arrows that we sell here are very special.
I'm sure they are, lassie, but I'm talking about anything that would be more effective than a standard arrow.
That I think I know where you're going with this. Unfortunately, I would be very careful with that kind of stuff around here. The guards would not be best pleased if we were dealing in, shall we say, magical arrows.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'm sure you don't deal with any such thing. But if some happen to have been dropped off by a customer and you didn't know what to do with them, would they be available to maybe have a look at?
Look, I'm not trying to be not trying to be racist here, but I'm not sure I can trust someone of your race. So especially with something that could land me in criminal issues. So if you want the longbow, I'm happy to sell you the longbow, but I'd appreciate it if this line of inquiry were to be dropped, especially during daylight hours.
I appreciate that. Well, maybe you could offset this short bow against the cost of your very nice longbow.
Well, this longbow, I would be retailing for 50 gold pieces. This short bow, she looks like it's had some wear and tear. It's clearly not new. So I could not possibly offer you. Well, I mean, it's been looked after. I wouldn't say well looked after. I could offer you 5 gold pieces for this, so we'll call it 45 gold pieces for the longbow, and I keep the short bow.
Well, maybe we could make it 10 gold pieces, and I'll come back at a more convenient time to yourself, and we'll have a further discussion.
Listen, I have to sell this again if I'm buying it off of you. Look at it. And she points at some of the splits in the wood where it's splinters and stuff. She's she runs her finger down it, and you see bits splintering off. She's like, I cannot sell that for 10 gold pieces. My offer stands. 5 gold pieces for the bow.
Just as a point, you said I could have 15 gold for it. I tried to sell it last time.
Right, that was last time. This is a busy town. This is what she's offering you. It's been used since then. It's been battle worn. This woman is offering you 5 gold pieces for this bow.
All right, I will I'll take the deal.
Okay, 45 gold pieces. She takes the short bow, and you have a longbow.
Awesome. And that concludes my shopping trip. So I guess I'll go and try and find Taz and Snow.
Okay, so Taz and Snow, did you go with Siege for the shopping trip, or did you go off to try and find the Shadow Cup immediately?
Right to the Shadow, at least I am.
Yeah, I'm with Taz.
Okay. So you head to the east side of town where you were told to go, and it's clearly the rougher part of town. There's less extravagant looking shops and bars and restaurants and nice looking areas. The streets are dirtier. They're narrower. They're less well maintained. You see weeds coming up through some of the cobblestones, and just the general quality and class of people that you see also is obviously not as high as the other parts of towns that you've been through so far. People's clothes look shabbier. People look a little bit more on guard as they're walking around. They're sort of keeping like maybe one hand on where their coin purse might be, and there's less of a guard presence as well. You don't see very many compared to where you were before, where there was guards junctions, there was guards patrolling. You see some guards, they seem to be moving in small groups, but not really very often compared to other parts of the town. Not the nicest part of town.
Okay, do we find the Shattered Cup?
You don't find it immediately when you sort of walk through. You don't see anything like a sign that says Shattered Cup this way, or anything like that. If you were to ask around, then people would sort of like, they're not super happy to like talk to you. They're sort of like, yeah, just that way, like a couple streets there, hit a left. They're quiet and they're just, yeah, that way, yeah. And you can make your way towards it, and you turn down this alley, and it's quite a narrow alley, maybe only like sort of 6-7 feet across. And it's quite dim as the buildings are really close together. It smells of sewage, and there's like a small gully in one of the sides of the alley, as you can see, some dirty water trickling along it, and quite far down the alley, sort of maybe like 80 feet down the alley, you can see the sort of the board that hangs out with the logo of a bar. You can see that, and it's sort of hanging there, and it's a shattered cup. And you can just make it out in the dimness of this alley.
Taz, let's go in.
Sure.
So as you head into the alley, the smell is strong at first, but dissipates pretty quickly as you get in, and there's a breeze that's coming through, almost like channeled up the street, up the alley. And give me perception checks, both of you. Nice. Oh, nice. So both of you notice as you're sort of halfway into this alley, so about 40 feet into it, that there are two small figures which are sort of slinking along behind you, about sort of 10-15 feet behind you in the shadows.
Taz,
No.
do you see that?
Yes, I see
Sure.
them.
What should we do?
Ask them if they want to come along.
Okay, but you ask.
Okay.
Then
I
I
will
assist.
turn around. And I will turn around and just wave at them and shout like, "Do you guys also want to come to the Shattered Cup?"
So both of them sort of stop and like press into the shadows against the wall as you speak.
Maybe they're shy.
Should I ask again?
I don't know. What if they're not nice?
Well, then they're between me and my hill. That would not be
No, they're
nice.
behind you. They're behind you. The ale's in front of you.
Well, let's go really fast to the Shattered Cup so that they can't get between us.
Okay, following you.
Alright, so Snow takes off at a brisk walk/run
Okay.
Yeah,
to
we're
the
basically dashing that way, I guess.
Yeah. So you reach it, and the entrance is like almost like another house entrance. The only real differentiating mark is the fact that there is that hanging sign for the pub just sort of above the door, and yeah, it's open and it's dim inside. So as you rush in, faces look up at you and then all look down really quickly. This is the type of place where it pays not to be interested in other people's business.
Okay, walk up to the bar, and is there anybody behind the bar?
Yeah, there's an oldish looking man. He's got grey hair. He's got wrinkles in his face. He's clearly had a hard life, but not the hard life of like a farm worker or something like that. Just like a life of someone who spent many years in squalor and poverty, and barely making it by. And he's polishing
Excuse me, sir.
a tankard with a very dirty rag.
Excuse me, sir. Are you the owner of this place?
I am the operator currently.
Oh,
Wasn't the owner's name like Darian or Gandalf or something like that? I legitimately don't remember, so Snow is attempting to say the dude's name from those guys they ran into.
He sort of looks at you over the bar. It's like, my name is Jardum.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
oh, then you are the guy that vooral and Too Young and Whammy talk about.
Oh. And he sort of looks at you and he's like, you are friends of Puerfo? Then?
I was there minding my own business with my barrel of ale, and they were passing along. And then we started drinking and sharing stories. That's all I remember, because ill.
Right. I'm not going to ask any questions.
And he said, go here and say hi and have a drink.
Sure, what can I get for you?
Ill.
That we have.
Yo, do you want ill?
So, Snow normally drinks milk and not alcohol, but knowing her situation, she knows when to have a drink with friends, so she goes for ale. Yeah, I'll take some ale.
Okay, 4 ill.
4 L's. That would be 16 copper pieces, please.
Okay. And I will hand him the 16 gold pieces.
And he sort of just gestures to some of the empty tables. They're all in sort of pretty bad condition. Like there's like chunks out of them, or like maybe like a weapon is slammed into a table at some point, and is danger sense.
Yeah, wrong button.
Okay.
I tried to change my currency again, but every time I press enter and I have something selected somewhere, it just
Rolls it. There's a man in a corner, and he is sitting there. A table in front of him has a chessboard on it, and he's sort of like you can see him puzzling, and then he makes a move, and is sort of sitting there, and the table itself seems to almost like split open, and some sort of like weird tentacle comes out, and it moves on another piece and disappears back into it again, and he's sort of and he goes back to thinking. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other free tables around for you to choose from.
I guess we choose random one.
Yeah. So he comes over, drops off 4 ills by you. They're all kind of like look a bit suspect, but it's ale. Does the job clearly. It's not the highest quality, and it's cheap.
I shoved 2 of the casks to Snow. Here!
Snow sips slowly because she's probably definitely not her type of thing, and she's hasn't really had a lot of alcohol, so she doesn't want to get too drunk too fast.
Okay. So while this is happening, Siege has done his bits and pieces and has made his way towards the Chateau Club as well. So you head down this alley the people have told you about, and you see the sign in front of you, and you see some small figures huddled by one of the windows, sort of just standing there doing their thing, whatever their thing happens to be.
So, I don't know anyone's down there. So these figures, are they actually by the Shattered Cup window, or are they like a random place down the alley?
No, they're right by the shutter cup window. So there's the door, and then there's like a couple sets of windows, and they're sort of like there, and they're small, so they're sort of like almost like they've got hoods up, and they're like up almost against the window.
Okay. So I'll just move at normal speed, like cautiously, but just at normal speed down the alley towards the door.
Yep. You do it silently. You try to be sneaky or anything. Or you just move them down.
No, I mean, I'm just trying to. I've got no reason to be sneaky, so no.
So as you're approaching about 10, 15 feet away, one of the figures looks up at you as you're coming that way, and then like nudges the other one, and then they both seem to like head up the alley a little bit.
Okay. At that point, given two figures heading down the alley towards me, and I.
No, up, away from you.
Okay, that's fine. Then I'll just keep going in that case.
So you reach the entrance of the Shattered Cup. You going in?
Yeah, go in. I'll want to go in. I'll look around for my friends who are presumably here. If I spot them, I'll just head straight to the bar and grab an ale. If I don't see them, I'll look around.
Yeah, they're sitting at a table.
Okay, I'll go and grab an ale then.
2 ales in front of each of them.
Well, knowing Taz's drinking habits, actually, knowing Snow can't drink, or what? Not that she can't drink, that she won't drink very often. I'll go sit down with them and pass her a couple of coins for the beer or the ale, and just take one of hers.
Okay. Right, so we'll jump back briefly to Harzana and Sir Tristan. So you guys are in a separate, much nicer, more expensive tavern. Is there anything particularly you would like to do while you're here, or are you just killing time?
We're comparing notes on the things so far. So I've told Harzana previously about the dream I had, the prophecy, and I'm kind of working through with this incredibly smart sorceress what the addition of this other kind of magical artifact sword means to that.
Okay. So
But keeping it a secret between us two.
So if that's what you're doing, then you guys can be doing that amongst yourselves.
I also think like Asana would tell a bit about her home, like looking at that map, telling about historical events that took place 100 years ago, and then like back when I was young. Like he's really enjoying being in a place that somewhat resembles being home, but of course he's also listening to Tristan about his
And as someone who has not been home in a very long time, I can also relate to the nostalgia that Harzana is experiencing. I'm also not able to go home either.
Okay. So if you guys are just doing that, then you can happily do that amongst yourselves. For the rest of you, in the Shattered Cup, there is some less than savoury looking clientele clearly in this place. There's people sitting in shadowy corners. Maybe like 3 of them sitting there, and then someone will come in and sit down with them for a bit. You can see, maybe money or something exchanging hands, and then the person gets up and leaves the tavern. It's just clearly a place where business goes down, and not just business but bidness. So all sorts of dodgy looking folk in here. People are making a point at not looking at things. When stuff's happening, you can see everyone kind of like averting their eyes, making sure not to be a part of any of this stuff. After a while, some folks come in with some black robes, and there's 3 of them, and you see them walk up to the side of the bar, and Jardim sees them come in, and he puts down the thing he was doing. He heads over, and he is in sort of head down in conversation with them.
Do these robes look like the people we saw in the mines?
I
think
Great.
that would be knowledge to Siege.
Perception, I guess.
Am I rolling that, or are you rolling that, Snow?
I can do it.
Okay.
The black robes, the robes you saw in the mine were black as well. You don't see any obvious symbols or anything like that on them. They're sort of, their hoods are down as they're in the place. You see they've got like shaved heads, but no other, like identifying marks or symbols anywhere on their robes. And yeah,
Okay.
they're talking to Jardim quietly in the corner.
Okay.
Given that everyone else seems to be ignoring any shady conversation, I'm just going to quietly sit there drinking the second of Snow's ales, because, you know.
Yeah, I
taking
let
one
that
off her.
happen.
Yeah.
So if you're just ignoring it after a couple of minutes, you hear slight. You know when someone like slightly raises their voice when they're like shocked or something like that, and you don't hear what they're saying. You just hear like the sound raised quickly, and Jardim looks a bit sort of like taken aback, and then the others all sort of pop their hoods up, and then they all leave.
Snow pushes her cup towards Tazros, so it looks like she's out of a cup, and waves over at the barkeep.
He
So show
want
that
more ale?
she needs, for service. And then she whispers to Tazros, I think something's happening, we should ask him.
He grabs a mug and fills it with the ale and then heads across.
So as he approaches, she asks him what all that was about, because he seems surprised when those people left. But she keeps her voice low so that other people can't hear, ideally.
He looks like a little bit like perturbed, and he's like, I suggest you mind your business. 4 copper, please.
She copper that Siege gave her.
And he like quickly heads back behind the bar, and he's sort of like avoiding eye contact.
Guys, I think he needs help.
In a place like this, helping someone often gets them killed, lass.
Yeah, well, we fought tons of stuff. Like, we're not gonna get killed.
Why do we
We've
need
almost-
to do something when we have ill?
Yeah, but if something happens to Gandalf over there, then he stops serving ale.
Then it's free ill.
No, you can't just steal ale.
I'm not saying we steal it, we take it.
Taking it without permission is stealing.
He cannot get permission if he's dead.
Yeah, but it's still his stuff.
Not anymore, because he's dead.
Oh my gosh. And he's a friend of your friend, remember? From Peripheral or whatever his name was?
Yeah, that's true.
So I think we should try and help him.
Ow.
I don't know what his problem is. Maybe it's something easy.
Then why didn't he say so?
Sometimes it's hard for people to admit they want help, Tazros.
Okay, I will convince him.
Okay.
Tazros walks towards the bar.
Oh no.
Climbs towards, like, almost up the bar, like, Mr. Gandalf, what is your problem? Why did those guys make a fuss? We can help you.
Lower your voice, please. He looks around like, and there's people who are like turning to look at you. It's like, lower your voice. Please sit down.
Okay. I will sit down at the bar.
He's like got like an amulet around his neck, and you see him like holding it and like nervously playing with it.
Dazzles
Please.
tries to whisper, like, "What's your problem?"
It's my problem. Don't worry about it.
No,
Oh.
you serve ill, and so it's my problem.
Snow motions to Siege that they should go casually walk up and sit at the bar too.
I very much don't want to get involved with any of this, but I'll follow Snow because she's my friend. Look, laddie, what my stumpy colleague here was trying to say is that we recognise the people you've been dealing with. Obviously, that's complete crap, but I'm just trying to use this. And we've come across them before. If we can help, we'd like to. And I appreciate this is maybe not the best setting for this kind of discussion, but we're coming. We can help.
He like plays with his locket a bit more.
Is it a locket or an amulet? Sorry.
It's hard to tell at this point, but
Okay.
it's like a small talisman on a chain type thing.
Okay.
And he's like, this establishment, my son, Ardan, it's his. I'm just trying to keep it running. At the minute, I don't know how much I can talk about this, but it looks at you like your weapons and stuff. You look like you can handle yourself. And
Most of the time,
I think you're probably the first people that seems to have actually. You're the first people to ask. You're the first people to care. I know it sounds stupid, but everyone comes in and no one seems to. No one gives a shit. No one cares about anyone else here. You're the first people that have actually. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you can help. I don't know.
well, all we can do is try, laddie. And if we can help, we will. If we can't, then we'll do that too. But my friend here needs ale, and he likes this place. My friend Snow has got a heart in the right place, and I like both of them, so I look after them.
Alright, and he gestures at one of the booths against the back wall. It's like, go sit there. I'll be right over.
I'll tug Tazros, none too subtly, and just nod for Snow's benefit.
So he bustles around behind the bar a little bit, and he pours 4 ales, and he comes across and he like slides in next to you guys, and he sort of like glances out around just to make sure, like he looks at the different patrons, and he speaks quietly, and he's like, my son Ardan, this is his establishment. His wife Canry, she unfortunately she died in childbirth, and the child itself was very ill. Very ill. Ardan, of course, he loved Canry very much, and this child is his only connection to her. And I don't know. Didn't look like the child was going to survive. He went to many temples. He went all up and down different temples. We had faith healers coming in there, mystics, but no one seemed to be able to do anything. The child's condition just seemed to get worse and worse, and my son, he just got more and more desperate. I mean, wouldn't you if it was your child? I mean, I understand it. If it happened to me, I certainly would be in the same situation. But eventually, those priests, those figures that were just here moments ago, they just happened to drop by and they seemed to know about what's going on, and they promised to help him. They called themselves the Abyssal Order. I never heard of them, but they told him they could help, and he was desperate. So he believed them, and he had to join them. He came home one day. He had shaved his head. He had the robes, and he stopped coming back here. He took the child. He stopped coming back. And I haven't seen him since. I don't know if the child is okay. I don't know if my son is okay. I'm trying to keep the place running.
So you just want us to go? Oh, go on.
Question there. Your son as a child
Yes, my grandson.
and a wife, but the wife died during birth. How can the wife have a son if she died during birth?
My
Tazros,
grandson.
you
My
can have the
grandson
baby and
survived.
die.
My grandson survived. Thank the gods.
But if the wife was never born because she died during birth, how could?
Oh, she died giving birth.
Oh, now I see.
I'll just slightly turn my body so Taz is blocked out a little bit, and God damn it, dude. Right, okay. So this Abyssal Order, folks. Do you know? Is there any idea where they're based in the city? Where they come from? Is there a temple of theirs?
No. The only thing I know is they come by every so often, and they say that Ardan needs more money for the order. So they came by yesterday. I gave them the money, and they came back again today, and they said they needed next week's already. Normally it's once a week. They've come twice. They say they need him his tithes, which come from this bar because he owns it. But all the money is going, and I haven't seen him in weeks now. And he grasps his amulet. The only thing that I have is this amulet. This is this was owned by Canry. This is her amulet, and it's paired with Ardan's, and he sort of holds it up, and it sort of like quivers slightly. It's not hanging vertically; it's quivering slightly to like one side. It's like it'll always pull towards the other. So I know.
Wait, say that last piece again.
It does. So he holds the amulet on the chain. It doesn't hang straight down. It's like pulls slightly to one side. It's like the amulet will always pull to the other. This one is Canry's. It's paired to
Okay.
Ardan's. It'll always pull towards it. So I know at least the amulet is around. He must still be here. I don't know. He's all I've got left in this world. I'm an old man. I'm just. I hope
Right, okay,
How
need
can we
to.
help?
So you just want us to check and make sure he's doing okay?
If you could do that, please, that would be. Maybe you can find him. Maybe you can find out if my grandson is okay. Maybe, I don't know. It feels like he's been. If he's desperate, maybe he's been suckered into this like a cult or something. I don't know. But please, can you? Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems easy enough.
If you wouldn't mind, we'll borrow your amulet. I promise to return it, and we'll use that to locate your son and your grandson, and we'll report back on what we find. No matter the situation. I know
He,
it's
like-
precious to you.
Like you can see, it's like shaking slightly. It's just like you can almost
It's
see
our
the
best
cogs.
chance of finding them.
Yeah, you can see the cogs turning in his head, and he's like, "Just yes, please. I need to know that my grandson and my son are okay."
Yeah, I understand that. We'll do what we can, okay? So we'll
Thank
take
you.
the amulet from you temporarily. We'll return it to you with knowledge of your son and your grandson. as soon as we can.
Thank you.
Pass the amulet to Snow.
Snow. Would it be disrespectful to wear it? Would she know that?
It's whatever Snow thinks.
Alright, so Snow wears it so that way she won't lose it easily. And she like puts it on and then tucks it under her clothes.
He like picks up his thing and then just like nicks it in like one go. And it's like, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't trust you, but I understand what Ardan went through. When you have no one else to turn to when you're desperate, any option seems like the right option.
But don't worry, we're not a death cult, so we should be okay.
Have you told Sir Tristan that?
No, I actually don't know where he is. Him and Horzana like ran off somewhere.
It's alright, we'll meet them later. Outside the Imperial Guard office. We'll find out where they are, or whatever.
Oh yeah, what time is it?
It's
Yeah.
probably like
Yeah.
late afternoon at this point now, by the time all this has happened and stuff.
Alright, well, we'll head out and see what we can find, I guess, in the short term before we go to the arranged meeting point. So, Snow, Taz, let's see what we can find for a couple of hours before sundown properly. See if we can get any indication.
Alright, let's
Do a bit
go.
of scouting.
But Hill,
My hand has like my nearly full mug of ale that was Snow's.
I want to chuck it down.
Snow leaves some silver for the barkeep. She feels like gold would be too much and insulting, but silver should be enough as a tip.
Yep, he the bartender seems to sort of very gratefully take it, and he looks, you know, when someone is like almost like they're hopeful but they don't want to let themselves hope too much. So you can see he's like keeping his emotions in check. He's like doesn't really know how to feel at the minute.
Alright, and you said he did take it?
He takes it, yeah. He takes the money.
Okay. Alright, team, let's go wander around.
You take the lead, lass. You've got the amulet after all.
So, as they leave the shattered cup, Snow takes out the amulet and kind of walks around like this, and just wherever it points, she walks to.
So
like in
it
video
just
games.
yeah, it sort of like pulls along the alleys that you're walking along at the minute. Are you directly trying to follow the amulet at the moment?
Yeah, if there's like a building or something, she tries to like kind of find a way around, like maybe it's a different alley to see if it's going through the building or if it's within the building.
Right, but I was just checking you weren't like heading to meet the other guys, but just seeing where it was going. You're actually following it actively at the minute.
Yeah, I think that's the plan.
Okay.
Yeah, so the idea that I had was to we'll go out and scout and see where this amulet leads us, and then meet up with the other two, and from there, you know, talk to Lieutenant Hightower and then make plans after that, I guess.
Okay. So you follow the way the amulet's going, and it seems to like point down various streets and alleys as you're kind of heading down them, and it's relatively easy to follow along, if that makes sense. It's not overly difficult to follow, and you reach a building that is clearly abandoned, and it's sort of like pulling towards that, and as you sort of pass it on the street, it's sort of pulling back towards that building again.
Hey guys, I think the amulet's trying to guide us into this building, but it looks abandoned. Should we try to knock or something and see if we can get in?
I think for the moment, lass, we'll leave it. Let's go and find Hazana and Tristan. I think if we're going to investigate creepy abandoned buildings with these abyssal order cultists, priests, whatever they claim to be, we need to be all five of us.
Okay. And so she takes a mental note of where it's located within the city.
Yep. You
And then I'll head towards the main square.
She puts the necklace back on.
Okay, so you make your way towards the main square. Trying to remember if you guys saw where you probably saw the direction that Hosanna was heading off towards. When you guys all split up in different directions, she probably was like, "Oh yeah, that looks like a nice pub over there." So that's the last you saw of them.
Yeah, we agreed to meet in front of the Imperial Guard office anyway, so we're just gonna hang around there, I guess.
Okay, yeah. So you wait there for a bit, and Hosanna and Sir Tristan, after a while, it's getting to later in the evening. The food was nice. You've been shown to the room that you've purchased. They've very kindly. It looks like it's a situation where they can have two beds separate, or they can push together to make one larger bed. And they've very kindly pushed them together for you, both as you've booked that one room. And yeah, you drop your stuff off.
For 2 rooms.
Oh, that's right, you did. So they didn't do that then. It was just 2 separate beds. So you've got your rooms. They've shown you them. You've given you the keys for them. And yeah, it's about time that you agreed that you would meet the others.
So how many hours have passed since we split up?
Probably about 3 or 4.
Well, then there's been plenty of time for eating and conversation, and Sana has had a nice, long and warm bath.
Yep.
If the water was not warm enough, she just used prestidigitation to warm it up.
Yeah. It was a nice, relaxing afternoon for Hosanna. She's feeling
Taking a lot of
extra
time
relaxed.
with self-care, and then using both mending and prestidigitation on her dress and her leather armor, so it looks all pristine. And she's probably also helped Tristan with his armor, so it also looks new and pristine.
I was going to say, I think mine had a hole in it. It's like a hole here.
Yeah.
But
So
as long as it's less than 1 foot, then she can fix it.
Yeah, I'm big. I'm not that big.
let's get to the point that you agreed to meet the others. What would you like to do? Would you like to head out now? Would you like to miss the meeting? What would you like to do?
No, just
How long is it until we were supposed to meet the...
It was just before sundown, they said.
Okay, so that's now then, yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty soon.
Sorry. We should probably start heading for that then.
Yeah, in that case, you can do so. So you head off, and you see waiting ahead of you Snow, Siege, and Tazros, a interesting party of 3 waiting there. When you all get together again, you are standing almost outside the Imperial Guard office. Tazros looks drunk.
So Siege got a new armor, right?
Siege's new
New
armor.
armor, new longbow.
Ah, so you got some new equipment.
I needed a bit of an upgrade, as more than enough shopping in this area. You look well rested, well refreshed. Clearly they need some good.
Oh yes, had a lovely meal and a great bath, and then got my dress fixed up, and now I actually look presentable. And you can see that Hasana's dress, like there's no signs of combat or anything.
Yeah, you look very pretty, lassie. But I think we've got a meeting to get to, and then we've got something to discuss afterwards. So after you.
All right. I lead the way into the building.
Okay, so the same woman is there before, reading what appears to be the same paper. And she looks up at you as you come in. She's like, "Back?"
Yes, of course.
Take a seat. She gestures at the bench behind you, against the wall.
I take a seat.
She goes back to reading.
I'll drop down and start whittling noisily with the point of one of my daggers in the bench to annoy her. Not Hazana, the keeper, whatever her name is.
She doesn't look up, and she is just like, handling an unsheathed weapon in Hama is an offence.
It's a tool.
Yeah. It's not a weapon at all, lassie. It's a toothpick.
Be it as it may, stow your weapon.
Well, as soon as we get to meet Lieutenant Hightower, I'll put my toothpick away for you. How about that?
Sergeant Leboxa. You hear a voice, and he's like, would you come here, please?
And I'll have magically made the dagger vanish by the time he appears. I'll be sitting over the whittled carving.
He appears, and he is sizable. Broad shoulders, barrel chest, chiseled jawline. The front cover of a romance novel type figure. And he just sort of stands there, and the woman's like, would you please keep an eye on these individuals, and if you see any behaviors untoward, please feel free to enforce Imperial law. And he's like, yes ma'am, and he sort of takes up position directly across against the wall, and just kind of keeps his eyes on you guys. And she goes back to reading.
I'll now take out one of the picks from my thieves' tools and start whittling the bench with that instead. Not a weapon.
He comes towards you, and he takes his hand, which is like A4 page size, and he just slowly and deliberately just puts it down on top of your hand, and sort of like holds it there, and just looks at you.
You got a problem, laddie?
Yes.
Just waiting. Lieutenant Hightower. We're told to meet him here, but we've been kept waiting. It seems very rude.
You've been in the building for 60 seconds.
Well, we expect you to be punctual. You're an Imperial Guard, after all.
You're
the very
early.
essence of Amarian nobility.
The guardsman turns to the rest of the guys, rest of you guys, and is like, does this one speak for all of you?
Of course not.
Then I suggest you muzzle him, or you'll all be asked to leave.
Well,
Can I
I'm
ask a question?
authority to make that.
Yes, Sir Dwarf?
How strong are you? Because you look strong.
Strong enough,
Can you lift me?
probably.
Can you try?
No.
Oh. I bet I could lift you.
I advise you don't try.
Oh. Ah, you're not a good sport.
I'm not paid to be a good sport here. Now, turns back to Siege, is like, if you insist on causing trouble, you will be asked to leave.
What trouble? I'm just sitting here, waiting for our meeting.
Will you be paying for the damage you're causing to Imperial property? This is damage directly to her Empress herself.
Well, frankly, her reputation's been damaged enough by keeping us waiting around for a meeting we've been asked to return to by one of your own lieutenants. Sorry about the alarm, by the way.
You will wait until your appointment. You will be seen when it is convenient. You will not damage any more property, or you will be asked to leave. That is the end of it. And he steps back and steps against the wall.
I will start whistling loudly.
Doesn't seem to be well about that. After a couple of minutes, you hear thunderous charging as all the guards come running in, That was the sound of the dinner time alarm that we could hear there. And the woman behind the counter is like, Lieutenant Hightower, we'll see you now. And gestures to the door to your side.
I'll sketch you a really elaborate bow. Most gracious of you, lassie.
She isn't paying attention, she's back to reading.
I'm just walking in.
So the other side, there's a bunch of sort of like offices and things like that, and one of them has a sign that says Lieutenant Hightower on it, and the door is open.
Just gently tap the door as I walk in.
Come in. Yes.
Did you get my message?
Message?
Someone must have shut down the bird.
He looks
I whistle
puzzled.
innocently.
It's like, what? Whatever. Anyway, how was Yulia? Did you make it there?
Yes.
Excellent. And what do you have to report? Mm-hmm.
So, all the villagers are dead.
Ah,
Yeah.
all of them?
We did not find a single one alive.
Did you determine what killed them?
So by the looks of it, they have been lured to the mines with some kind of enchantment magic. The same magic was used against us, trying to charm us and get us to walk to the mine. And as we investigated the mine, we descended into the bottom of it and encountered both oozes, undead, and cultists.
Cultists, you say?
Yeah.
Tell me more about these cultists.
I have some sort of site with the inverted cathedral.
What in blazes is the inverted cathedral?
Can't really say any details about the cultists because they got blown up to pieces, literally.
Did you didn't take any of them alive for questioning then? I take it.
No.
Well, I can't say if they're responsible for the death of an entire village. I can't say I can't say that. I blame you, to be honest, and I won't hold you accountable for anything like that.
Blame.
No one survived. Yes, didn't find anyone.
Snow jumps in and says, "We couldn't even find horses or anything."
That is most concerning. This blight that has come from the Darkwood, from the depths of this blasted Raravos. This is, it's most concerning. But, well, I promised you pay for this. And he goes into like a sort of coin thing and sort of counts out some money, and he's like, counts it out. 5 equal shares, 50 gold pieces per person. He passes it around. It's like, as promised. I must admit, we hadn't heard anything from Yulia for a while, as mentioned, before we were on our way there to try and establish what's going on. But yeah, not what I wanted to hear. I had my fears, but it's certainly not what I wanted to hear. Thank you. This will be fed up, and yeah.
We have slain any Triglavians and undead creatures in the area. There may still be some oozes and probably also some looters, but should be fairly safe.
Yeah.
To investigate.
I mean, we don't have the men to spare to secure an empty town. If the villages are gone or dead, as you say, then it would be a waste of Imperial resources to try and lock that place down right now. We may as well leave it to leave it to nature. I'm sure by now other people will have discovered it's empty and it'll be picked clean anyway. So I certainly don't imagine there's much to be gained by sending people out to secure that. A real shame. Ulea was it wasn't a nice place. That would be a lie to say that, but it was a place, and now it is no longer. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Some lives have been taken.
I didn't catch that. You guys glitched out for me. I think my connection lagged. What were you saying there, Miz?
Innocent lives have been taken by these monsters.
Yes. Not the first, not the last, certainly. We're getting reports from all over, and we're really stretched thin. We really need to get to the bottom of this, and really stop this blasted menace, whatever it is. But yeah, thank you very much for your help. And
Lieutenant, sorry
Yes.
to jump in there. How's your scratch you acquired?
oh yeah, not to be worried about. We have plenty of experienced medics here in the Imperial Guard. Concern yourself
Glad
not
to
with
hear
me.
it. A couple of quick points then. Have you ever heard of the Abyssal Order?
The Abyssal Order. And he makes a note down. He's like, can't. I think. He snaps his fingers and like a sort of like runner boy comes in and he speaks to him quickly, and runs off. It's like the name rings a bell, but I'm sure we've had some mentions of it in passing.
Yeah, that's where we heard it as well. Just wondered if it rang a bell at all.
After like a minute, so the runner boy comes back in with some parchment and he Hightower leafs through. He's like, yes. So it's a small local order, it seems. There's not much else here. They seem to just be local priests. They worship some sort of I would say a death god, but for some people they see it as a process of natural decay and order. Far be it from me to judge on that. I think they're just a small local establishment. Not much to worry about. Why do you ask?
Appreciate it. I've just heard the name in passing. Just seemed unusual. Wondered if you'd heard of it at all.
Yeah, well, apparently we've had some reports, but there's not a huge amount here in my records, and I personally have not been in Hama particularly long myself at the moment with all the running around. The job of the Imperial Guard isn't necessarily local politics; it's more outward facing.
No, I understand that. I appreciate your time. One last point before we take our leave. If we were looking to make passage towards Amar on one of these skyships, where would be the best place in town to do that?
Based on your assistance so far, I'm sure I could help arrange some passage. We have occasional need to send things to Amar ourselves. There is a ship going, I think, in the next couple of days. I'm sure I could put in a good word and arrange for you to. You won't have accommodation on board. You'll have to sleep on the deck, or in a hold if you can find somewhere. But I'm sure I can make arrangements.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Lieutenant. When we're ready to move out, I guess we'll come back and see you if you don't mind. If to avoid wasting time, both ours and yours, is there a way to bypass your gremlin at the front desk?
Oh yeah. Just 1 second. He pulls out his drawer on a desk and like gets out a piece of parchment and he writes a thing and he sort of takes a stamp and stamps it and then he gets out like a candle and some wax and he lights it and melts it and pours the wax on and then pulls out a little like brass sigil and he hands it to you. It's like this should suffice. Just if you need some assistance from the Imperial Guard, present this and you should get some help or at least less questions at first.
Much appreciated, Lieutenant. Sorry, go on.
Well, while he's doing that, can I use my mage hand to knock a pen or something off of his desk very slowly?
Yeah, so there's a couple sort of on the side. They're all lined up, and is the mage hand invisible?
Snow's probably isn't spectral. I don't know actually. Mine is.
A spectral floating
It does say a
hand.
spectral floating hand.
Yeah.
Can it look kind of furry, like a cat paw? More like a cat paw than a
Yeah,
hand?
I mean, he's distracted while he's doing this. You can probably like you know that way when like you're sitting at the table and the cat like has a paw up like that to try and like get something off the table.
Yes,
That there's
I
just you
remember
guys
that.
just see this little spectral paw just doing that on the side of the table, and it catches a pen and like sort of pulls it off the side, and it falls to the floor.
She stares infatuated while this is happening, completely kind of ignoring Lieutenant Hightower talking.
Okay, no one seemed to notice the pen fall. Maybe some of your party, but Lieutenant Hightower didn't notice it was busy.
All right, carry on.
I'll take the sealed letter that he's given us and I'll pass it to Hazana. Maybe this best be kept by yourself.
Yeah, wonderful.
Okay, well,
The last time.
I have other business to attend to. So, and he sort of looks out at the darkening sky. He's like, and it is getting late. So, please, if you wouldn't mind, I would be obliged if you take your leave.
I'll nod and then follow Hazana.
I leave.
So you guys all head out.
Well,
No problem. You're back in the main square.
should we go back to that abandoned warehouse thing?
What
Uh,
about warehouse thing?
We're trying to help this guy find his son and grandson, and we tracked them down to this warehouse, but we didn't go in because of the time.
Ah, see.
Do you guys want to come? It might be an adventure.
It's to do with this abyssal order that I mentioned in there. That's the reason I mentioned it to the lieutenant. They appear to be wearing the same type of robes, admittedly just plain black robes that we found in the bottom of the mine. It might be connected, it might be not. At worst, we help someone, find their family and reunite them. At best, it's connected to a larger part of this bonkers mystery we find ourselves in, and could provide some answers. Up to you, but I don't think there's a reason not to go.
Yeah, you had me at help someone, just kept rambling.
If it's connected to this, we can have a look. But yeah, Abyssal Order. Could that be the name of these cultists?
It could very well be, which is why I wanted to investigate it.
Do you know the name of that death guard?
Nope, we have not got that information yet.
Also something worth investigating.
You're not wrong. So, when Snow tracked the location of the priest, the cultists, whatever they are. So, if you're ready, we can go out, or do you want to...
How dark is it, Mr. Hawk? What time is it, Mr. Hawk?
It's after sundown. Seeing as your meeting was at sundown, it's not after sundown.
Is it so dark that we can't see?
I mean, in a city like this, there's right now in the main square, there's plenty of light still from the open sky above. Looking down some of the streets, you can see people going around and sort of like lighting different like sort of street lanterns and things like that. So it seems to be like at least the main thoroughfares are lit.
So we are blessed with stars. There are plenty of hours remaining in our day. Let's go shine the light on your missing people.
Yeah, let's take advantage of the night.
All right.
So Snow and Tazra, well maybe not Tazra, Snow and Siege can lead you back to where this this abandoned building was, and Hazana and Sir Tristan, you see Snow pull out this pendant and sort of look at it in front of the building.
So I'm gonna check Oh, my camera. I'm gonna check to see that the pendant still shows to go into the building by kind of walking around it. Is that reflective?
It seems to be still like hanging towards it. Yeah.
Right. So I turn back to Pyre and says, "It seems like he's probably in here if we're ready to go look."
So the building itself seems to be just a regular sort of like townhouse block, like maybe like 2 wide. It's obviously been like burned out as a fire or something like that, because it's like the top is the roof's fallen in. It's charred beams and things like that, and the rain has come in and kind of ruined everything inside from the outside. So it's clearly just been abandoned since then. It's boarded up on the outside. With the darkening sky and the overhanging buildings, even though the main street that you're on is lit up, the building you're looking at is still cast in shadow. The beams and bits that have collapsed are sort of sticking out at different angles and so on, so that there's just like long and odd looking shadows and bits of darkness inside this this abandoned and very quiet building. It's so dark inside you can't even like see through the cracks in the boards that are covering the windows and the doors, and I think that's a good time to leave it. So thank you very much for watching, for those of you who joined us. I, as is tradition, have been Ithaca Hawk. I have with me, of course, Chocolate Rain, Discreet Error, Geeky Decorum, Star Mid _ and Omer AMR, and together this is Adventures in New Eden. That was episode 6. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. It's a 2-weekly thing. It's their official. So thank you once again for watching, and good night.
Bye.